What's going on? 6 o'clock. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I am Robert Walsh. Doubleheader on Monday Night Football. Bills drug the Jaguars 47-10. Trevor Lawrence's struggles continue as he finished 21 of 38 for 178 yards, a touchdown, and an interception as the Jags stay winless at 0-3. Commanders with an early candidate for Game of the Year as they get the win over the Bengals 38-33 in the first game since 1940 that neither team punted the ball or had a turnover, and no team in the Super Bowl era has done what the Commanders did. 2 consecutive games with 0 turnovers and 0 punts. On the Titans front, Bill Callahan spoke to the media yesterday, gave an update on the Titans' injury situation headed into Week 4.
Just starting out, we're probably going to end up. Cheeto's got a groin. Probably miss him for some weeks at this point. It's significant enough. What that timeline is remains to be seen, but I would expect him to miss some time. Jeff's got an elbow. Simmons has an elbow issue that's probably day-to-day.
For all your foundation repair and your waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Six o'clock on another Tuesday morning edition of Ramon, Kayla, and Will. RKW 104.5 The Zone live in studio for the next 4 hours. There is lots to discuss as Brian Callahan met with the media yesterday. Tyler Boyd said the Titans have a Super Bowl caliber roster. And always on Tuesdays, we dive into the college football weekend because the Tennessee Volunteers might just be a national championship contender. With our former Tennessee Volunteer in the room, Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, Robert Walsh, I'm Will Bowling. It is Tuesday, September the 24th, and before we get to all the college football, guys, the Jags stink. Good morning.
Breaking news. They've lost, 9 straight games?
8 games in a row.
Oh. And by the way, the Titans actually beat them last year at the end of the year. So
That's
you got that going for you.
That's right.
It's terrible. That's terrible, man.
And that's a first overall pick quarterback, by the way.
Yeah.
Number 1 overall.
And who they've committed to
that.
also. I was about to tweet out last night because, hey, I got an inner thought. Let me let the world know on Twitter. Well, I said,
Make it an outer thought.
I'm a pass. Yeah, make it an outer thought. I pass, and all I could think is, hey, Titans fans, at least you don't have the number 1 overall pick that you just paid a crap ton of money to and that you're stuck with, in a sense. So there's always light at the end of the tunnel.
I think I'd still rather be in their situation, quarterback-wise, but that's okay.
I feel
We
that.
could debate that. Which quarterback situation would you rather have, the Titans or Jags?
I don't know if it's him or them at this point.
I think I'd still rather have Trevor Lawrence.
You still rather have Trevor Lawrence?
What scares me about Trevor Lawrence, though, is that he, at this point, I don't know if he has many other excuses because he has been that guy there for a minute. They've tried to, bring in guys for him. They've changed offensive coordinators. It could be coaching. Part of it with Doug Peterson. I don't think he's calling the plays anymore.
Press Taylor as well, the offensive coordinators, had some concerns.
So I don't know if that's really a good look. So I don't know if it's Trevor Lawrence or if it's just the continuation of change around him. But no matter what, if you're a number 1 overall pick, like my expectations are extremely high for you. And he's been in this organization long enough where you'd think he'd have a little bit more sustainability in terms of his success.
What's interesting about it, though, more than anything, is how they have sold out for him. They've had high draft picks. They went and got him offensive linemen. They paid Brandon Scherf a bag to come down there and protect them. But to go get boat raced on Monday night, all you can do as Titans fans to hope that's not your future moving forward, though, too. Because, again, they have a Trevor Lawrence in a sense, and we're still trying to figure out if we got a Will Levis or not. So it's always that. And then, of course, I mean, we could, pile on the Jacksonville Jaguars as much as we possibly can, but then you also got a rookie in Jaden Daniels that's looking like he's going to be one of them type dudes, too. So
I said I liked him over Caleb Williams, but that was just my
3 games.
Two wins in a row for him.
Just like it's 3 games for Sam Darnold over there.
It's more than 3 games in his career, so that's not true.
Just saying.
That's not true at all,
Sammy is
actually.
killing
saying.
it, though. Sammy's killing
He's
it,
doing
man.
what he's done his whole career when he's not with a loser.
When he's not with the loser. Enough more wholesale stuff possibly coming out of Jacksonville, though. I mean, the skill that they have. Brian Thomas Jr., I got to give it to him, though.
Oh, he's played well.
He got an edge to him that you want as a rookie. And it's always that is all what we can really talk about.
I will say the thing about the Commanders that impresses me is the job Cliff Kingsbury has done. He has made things very simple for Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels is making some 5-star throws, but we talked about better situations. Clearly, he is a better OC than Shane Waldron is.
Yeah.
For their rookie quarterbacks. There's no doubt about that.
Were you surprised with that, though? We've seen that from Cliff in the past as an offensive coordinator. Yeah. Probably not as a head coach. I feel like he's a solid OC, and that's probably where his job should have stayed and not necessarily gone into the head coaching aspect of things. But I'm not as surprised because I feel like he has been known for that in the past. But
yeah,
I mean, 2 incompletions. That's
cooking.
That's surprising.
Yeah, and also give a lot of credit. I mean, Terry McLaurin continues to be a guy there that they can count on with all the quarterback he's worked with over all the last, several years he's been there. Yeah. He's been with over a handful of quarterbacks and has still been able to kind of be a guy for them. So hats off to him, too, for kind of being that dude, too. And we saw the connection with them last night with him and Jaden Daniels.
91% completion percentage for Jaden Daniels, the highest recorded by a rookie quarterback in a single game in NFL history.
Which is wild. After also getting talked bad to about from the Cincinnati Bengals, Cam Taylor-Britt. And it was this that he said, it's like, they don't make him do a lot. Nice college offense. Intermediate stuff. Well, he went on to pass for 254 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, and 1 rushing touchdown. So, Cam Taylor-Britt, I mean, you got to eat a little bit of lemon pepper crow this morning because the young man did drop a dime.
I think a lot of us
Terry McLaurin.
He is way better than I expected right out of the gate. Way better. No one could have predicted 91% passing completion.
No, absolutely not. On Monday Night Football on top of that against Joe Burrow.
And that's the thing, too. When you go in a standalone game on primetime, those performances do give you more weight in the football world because everyone's watching it.
I mean, I just could imagine being that season of a defense that Cincinnati have. Talk bad about a young man like that. I ain't going to say talk bad. I mean, it's sportsmanship. He's confidence in their team, even though they're 0-2. And for him to just dice you apart. And here's the other part, too, about him, Will. The Joker was running. And all we ever heard was, I mean, he shouldn't run. And he's so thin and stuff like that. And he's cooking.
He is still.
He's cooking. Yeah, he's cooking big time.
Meanwhile, the Bengals are 0-3, which is, to me, not surprising, but very surprising at the same time.
It's very surprising.
How's that work?
And I mean, just because I think we think Bengals and we think just the recent Bengals, they're not going to start 0-3. But then we talk about the slow starts. They keep on having, they had another injury last night on the line. I believe it was at right tackle. The young Amarius Mims has to come in. So that will be, again, they've always kind of had issues on the line. And he's a first rounder. He should be able to step up. But now he's has to be the guy, right?
Trent Brown, the tackle.
Yeah, Trent Brown went down.
Yeah. I will say I'm highly surprised by Cincinnati starting 0-3 with the off. I mean, with the offseason that they've had. I mean, I know the drama they had with Jamar Chase and everything played into it, but he's there. He's playing. He's making catches. He's not been a distraction to them now. Joe Burrow, I expected to be a lot hotter. I expected to play a whole lot better. I mean, the Cincinnati defense, the offense, the team in general, I thought was going to be a whole lot better. To be 0-3 in today's NFL with a highly paid quarterback.
And in that division, too.
I mean, they hadn't even played a division game.
That's what I'm saying, but they're
mistaken.
already 0-3 to start the season. Now they've got to play division games, which are not easy.
I hate that for Cincinnati. I absolutely hate that for them.
That's not a good look.
Well, 0-3 it is.
Yeah.
So 3 teams 0-3 after 3 weeks. The Titans, Jags, and Bengals, as we all expected.
Yeah.
And 2 of those in the AFC South. Yoo-hoo! Woo!
So the AFC South has 2 wins out of 10 games outside of divisional games. Those 2 wins are against the Chicago Bears.
Oh, well, we missed that
Oh
one here.
boy.
The AFC South has won 2 games
Gosh.
this year. They're both against the Bears, and then the Texans beat the Colts in the other one.
Yeah, that's bad.
And
business.
despite
Right.
Anthony Richardson's best efforts, the Colts were victorious on Sunday.
And see, this is where I don't want to be wrong on saying, like, okay, I thought with the young quarterback talent the AFC South had, I expected to raise the elevation of this division. I did. Well, I mean, with Trevor Lawrence, I heard Brady Quinn speaking about him on Two Pros and a Cup of
Yeah,
Joe.
I
I
heard
was just
that
like,
this morning,
Brady
too.
is not a Trevor Lawrence fan at all.
I think the funniest image was Sam Darnold little boying C.J. Stroud the same way that C.J. Stroud little broed Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all
Little
heard that
bro.
audio. Where
I
it's
did.
like C.J. Stroud going up to Caleb Williams being like, hey, man,
Oh,
like
yeah.
just stick to it, man. You're going to be good in this league. What? You're like 24. And then Sam Darnold did the exact same thing. Just patted him on the chest like, hey, sorry, buddy.
Hey,
That's what we do in Minnesota.
Sam Darnold's out here cooking, man. It's the home of Kurt.
34-7. I mean, that's the most shocking result maybe of the season for me so far.
No doubt.
Well, their defense is stellar. I mean, stellar. And
so is Houston's.
I
So is the
almost would
offense.
argue that I think the Vikings create more confusion in
No,
terms of that defense.
Houston is cooking.
Will
though.
Anderson to Daniel Hunter. I did not expect 34 points.
No. And on top of that, they got the secondary to back it up and a defensive head coach that can dial it up.
Well,
on top
they got
of an offense.
exposed yesterday.
Well, they got an offense that should be able to keep the opposing offense on the sideline, too. Like, I'm genuinely shocked by that score. More the score than anything. Like, Sam Darnold doing it as a veteran, okay, I get it. But they weren't even able to keep the top on top of it. So that
It's the
bothers
National
me.
Football League, though, and that's why nothing surprises me anymore. I feel like every year we continue to have these games where you feel really good about a certain team going into it. And I feel like every Sunday there's at least a couple surprises. And I don't know what you attribute that to, if it's, not expecting that out of a team and then getting it, or if it's just the way you prepare for certain individual teams. I don't know what it is, guys, but I swear every week there's about 2 games that are definitely surprises.
Yeah, that one not in half because I also picked them on my
I know
Thursday
you picked
three.
him on your.
I picked
tough.
them on my Thursday.
It wasn't a bad pick either. So
I mean, with what I expected them to do defensively.
You lost by 27 is a bad pick. I'm kidding.
Yeah, by the letter of the law, that is a bad pick.
Technically.
Oh, that's what
Okay.
we doing? That's what we doing today,
Well,
huh?
the aftermath
No, it's
was
all
bad.
good. I can't wait. I think I looked at y'all bets too this week. That's all I know.
I made a lot of bad picks.
Somebody is 2-1 in here, and it starts with
he's
me.
the one that.
and it starts with me.
I went
this
2-1.
week you're 2-1.
Yes.
He went 2-1 too.
No, don't take that from me, Kayla.
615-737-1045 is our number. Tennessee pummeled Oklahoma on a Saturday night in Norman. We'll talk about it next.
Hey, did you know that you can use your own body's healing properties to revitalize your achy joints and get real lasting pain relief? Hey, it's Kayla Anderson. I'm talking about advanced regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics. If you're tired of arthritic pain in your knees, your hips, your back, or shoulder, this is something you need to check out. Everybody's talking about regenerative medicine, and the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics are experts in these amazing treatments. People here are raving about the results. You can enhance your joints, improve your mobility, and get back to doing the stuff you love to do without pain and without drugs or surgery or downtime. They've got tens and thousands of satisfied patients. You can be one of them, and the consultation is totally free. So give them a call now. Take action to get lasting joint pain relief with help from QC Kinetics in Murfreesboro. Call them at 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024.
Tuesday morning, kicking off the show on Ramon, Kayla, and Will. This is RKW, streaming live on 104.5 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. 615-737-1045. Austin Price at 8:20 this morning, talking Vols. And Ron Slay at 9:20, talking whatever Ron Slay wants to talk about. Guys, did Tennessee prove it as a national championship contender with a Saturday night bludgeoning of Oklahoma 25-15 in a game that clearly was not nearly as close as the final score suggests?
I personally won't minimize it at all. Absolutely not. I will not minimize it whatsoever. Oklahoma was supposed to be that good. They were at night. They have a defensive-minded head coach, and they were ranked in the top 15. They checked every box that you needed as far as saying if your team can compete with the big dogs, and they did. Yes, I do think that. They make them bench a 5-star plus quarterback. I mean, and I know he's a young guy. I get it. Whatever. All right. And then they also smothered them in the defense. The answer is yes, Will. I will not minimize what I saw this past weekend, for better or worse moving forward. This past weekend, they dominated.
Yeah, when you look at, this team who to some nationally wasn't on the radar to start the season necessarily in terms of being a national contender or even a team that had a really good chance at making the playoffs. People that are a little bit closer to the situation, I think, have seen this team and what they've added over the past couple of years. They saw that defense last year with really bright spots be added to again this year. And so while the defense is a surprise to some of the national people now, I don't think it's as much of a surprise to people who have been monitoring this team over the past couple of seasons. With saying that, yeah, they faced an Oklahoma team that is a ranked team that clearly had a very good defense, and we did see that out of their defense. That's a solid defense Venables has over there. Unfortunately, their offense is quite the opposite in terms of the stability of the offense. And we saw that with the benching of Jackson Arnold and Michael Hawkins Jr. coming in, which looked a little bit better even than Arnold. So I think what I'll say about this is at this point, I am buying into Tennessee being a possible contender not only for the playoffs, but I think they have an opportunity to be one of the better teams in the SEC, which in my eyes would make them a contender for the national championship. And it starts with the defense first and foremost. And I think the offense just hasn't even showed necessarily everything it can show at this point, because I think Heupel might have even been a little bit conservative with the offensive play calling.
He said he was at the end of the game, too.
Post-game press conference, Josh Heupel essentially said, our game plan changed in a way that it never has in my coaching career in this game. It's only fitting that happens back at the place where I think a lot of people thought he might, because it was such an emotionally charged moment, kind of go for the throat a little bit. Mm-hmm. I think he showcased real maturity in not trying to air it out when he essentially knew, all right, if our offense just doesn't give us a disaster play, our defense is going to lock this down and we're going to be just fine in this game.
How much would you have been petty in that moment right there?
I think a lot of people would have gone for it.
Easily.
I mean, how many of us have turned on the college football video game and beaten teams by 100 who beat us in the past, right? I think that's what a lot of people thought Josh Heupel would do, and it just wasn't what was going on for him.
I told you, I turned on the game just to learn how to play NCAA 25 and beat Vanderbilt 97-3 or something like that. Okay, I'm that type of petty. Yes, I know what you guys have said about me. Yeah. Oh, you want to put the big coach up there in the doggone press box, Stoops and everything. Yes, let me embarrass you. I'd have been carrying just cans of gas around. You hear me?
Well, that's what I think is awesome for Josh Heupel and this team, is that they didn't have to do that. And Josh Heupel is known for offense. Josh Heupel is a quarterback guy, and they didn't have to win that way. Mm-hmm. They were able to win with something, like I said, again, that surprised a lot of people with how elite this defense is. And even the back end, too, we saw some really good moments. And that is a question that they've had over the past couple of years in terms of how stable that is. Well, we've seen that that's improved as well. So front to back, you're like, okay, this is pretty good.
I think I learned two things about this defense specifically. First and foremost, they have a legit lockdown corner in Jermod McCoy. Mm-hmm. You can argue Jermod McCoy is one of the most important transfers in the Josh Heupel era so far. 48 coverage snaps against Oklahoma, according to Pro Football Focus. 0 catches allowed. He was targeted 4 times. He had a pass breakup and an INT. One of those pass breakups on 4th down, where Tennessee's defense as well continues to just be suffocating on 4th downs. Only one team has converted 1 4th down against them now through 4 weeks of the season. And I think beyond that, it's the depth behind the starters on the defense are also still good against an SEC opponent. We didn't know how much like the Jackson Moyes of the world and the Dominic Baileys and, some of the backup linebackers, like how successful they would be against SEC teams. They look about 10 deep on that defensive line of guys that can play.
The way Jamar McCoy dropped back and picked that ball off was just like an instinctive friggin' play that I don't think we've seen from the secondary
really
in a while
good.
of a playmaker.
Yeah.
I feel like we're neglecting a very important part of this defense. I'm talking about a bona fide tone setter that even I'm asking, where in the heck did he come from? Jacoby Thomas?
Bad intentions with this defense.
Intentions!
And here's the thing I love. And
What?
I saw somebody tweet this out. I think it was Peter Burns tweeted this out the other day. The way Georgia beat Tennessee in 2022 has caused them to correct their path a little bit. And what I mean by that is Tennessee saw its lack of physicality at Georgia. Tennessee saw how its good offensive linemen were getting beaten at the point of attack, how its good defensive linemen could not stop Georgia in the run game, and said, we need to get bigger, more physical, and more violent. And that is the thing this defense is. It is equally as violent as it is talented.
You know what's even crazier is they started off the game with Elijah Simmons. You didn't even have Big O on the field the first series, the first
Amari
two series.
Thomas,
Amari Thomas, yeah, I'm out here dropping nicknames and stuff like that, like everybody's in a room, right? But seriously, Elijah Simmons started off, and you got to think to yourself, why? Why would you start Elijah in that game 1st and 10? Well, guess what? First play, he's knocking folks back. And then it's all about understanding what you're trying to accomplish. You got a young freshman quarterback that's first time in that setting right there, and you're trying to create chaos up the middle. Again, it's a big man's game, no matter how much we say we love airing the ball out.
Defensive end Joshua Josephs, according to PFF, had a 99 run defense grade in this game.
Pretty impressive.
I've never heard of anyone getting a 99 from PFF.
Can we just speak on that, too, to where he admitted this summer, I was a little jealous of James Pearson. Now here he is, also co-defensive player of the week.
That's the thing. Competition breeds more competition, and
It
that's
makes the
clearly what
best.
it did.
It does, man. And then you sprinkling in young guys on top of this, too. Boo Carter still getting his licks in, right? Tari West is still growing up. Like, you got dudes who hadn't played a lot, like Christian Harrison, right? That are out here making plays for you also, on top of Arian Carter and freaking Keenan Peely. 7-11, they're always open, man, is what I'm telling you at this point, okay? These two linebackers, and I know they call, it was the Hubs on Friday, so they call him Uncle Grandpa. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
How old
deservedly
is he?
so.
Is Peely?
25. About to have a kid, too, on the way, too.
Yeah.
I mean, just like me.
I mean, Oklahoma
like
in this
you.
game ran the ball 34 times for 36 yards.
Yeah, 36 measly yards. It was like the Titans this weekend running the ball.
Oh, Caleb, we was
Well, it
trying to have a
was.
good
33
time.
yards,
I know we was
36
having a good
yards.
time, though. I know.
I'm sorry.
It was
Reminded me of it. It's giving me PTSD.
it was impressive. 27 guys for Tennessee on defense played, and 7 of them played more than 50 snaps on defense in this game.
And
7 guys playing more than 50 snaps. That
Big.
is ridiculous.
So what you're saying, they don't get tired, is what you're telling me.
Rotating.
Yeah, rotating like crazy. They don't get tired. And again, you seeing guys celebrate one another on the sideline, too, as if it's a team concept. And a lot of folks laugh when Coach Heupel had them playing dodgeball and they're going to the movies together, and they're playing red light, green light. You know what I'm saying? Every
Slow
little
pitch
thing.
softball.
I loved that
Slow
game.
pitch softball in there. I love red light, green light, by the way, too. But those are the things that you have to do to reset the culture, in a sense. And right now, you're starting to get to a point to where winning is doing a lot more for you than those types of things. And winning on primetime got you in a position where you're either going to get it on ABC or ESPN, another 7:30 or 7 o'clock game.
Against Arkansas next week?
Yeah.
Against Arkansas.
So bye week this weekend, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
bye this week. I mean, it's Tennessee versus Arkansas on primetime. Why are they putting that on primetime?
Tennessee's a top 5 team.
There it is.
And Arkansas is frisky.
They are frisky.
It'll be a night game,
the
right?
national championship contenders in the SEC, obviously Texas, Georgia, Alabama, Ole Miss, Tennessee. 5 teams right now in the SEC are national championship contenders. You putting Tennessee in there?
I'm definitely
I
putting
think you have
Tennessee
to
in
at
there.
this point. It's weird, too, because we haven't talked a lot about Ole Miss yet this year, just because they haven't played a ton of great quality competition.
No, right.
So I'll be interested to see once they hit some of the SEC, schedule, what they really look like. They're good. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
That's
It'll
a
take
good
a while.
team. But I'm interested to see how real it is, because I kind of am more convinced with Tennessee right now. I know we're closer to the situation. We hear more about the inside workings of Tennessee, but I like them a little bit more than I do Ole Miss at this point, just because I haven't seen yet the competition.
O-line played well there.
They
Yeah.
did. And you got to give a tip of the cap to Heupel and Coach Ellaby shifting that offensive line around too.
Well, 'cause of the
John
injuries,
Campbell went
right?
out. Yes, he
Yeah.
without Lance Hurd, and he's also without John Campbell, and having Dane Davis move over to left, and who was it at right?
Larry
It was
Johnson
Larry.
was playing a lot of left tackle. They moved Dane
Come on
back
up.
to right. I thought Larry Johnson actually looked pretty decent. And in mop-up duty, he has not been as good early this season. I thought he
Holding
took a big step
penalties.
forward.
Yeah, I think it was in the Czech game. He ended up having a holding penalty or something like that, and an opponent he should never have had.
Just a
one.
big body.
Yeah, he
He's
is a
so
big
tall.
dude.
About
When he came
330
in,
pounds. Yeah.
I was like, he looks different.
Yeah, I know Buck them find each other for like name dropping, but he hit me up this past summer and
Yeah.
was just like
Larry Johnson did?
Yeah, Larry Johnson did, man. It was just a cooler back and forth, and I just told him keep working,
Yeah.
man. Like, and
Don't worry
again,
about what Buck does.
I know
We won't find you on this show.
Name dropping every once in a while. I was like, oh really?
He dropped Jelly Roll yesterday,
Except this is
okay?
actually cool and adds to the conversation.
Yeah, but he's the guy to that point. It's like sometimes you got to wait your turn and opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
Jackson Moore is another one of those guys that waited his opportunity and now making
And
plays.
showed up.
Like he had a monster game for a D tackle that didn't play a whole lot before,
Mm-hmm.
man. But good on good, man. Tyree West, violent. Joshua Joseph punching that ball out on the 5-yard line.
Yeah,
like
Jackson
that had to
Moy-
be so deflating.
Jackson Moy in 15 snaps had a sack in TFL.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
Big Orange Mac is in Springfield on the phone lines with us
Hey.
this morning. Mac, what is going
It
on?
ain't Wednesday.
See, good morning, RKW.
This man is crazy.
Listen, everybody wants to talk about Nico and the offense, but RKW, that defense is so nasty. That defense is so nasty, ought to be locked up with P. Diddy right now. It's so nasty.
Oh, gosh.
That defense is so nasty. It's nastier than a truck stop bathroom not named Bucky's. That's how nasty this defense is. RKW, we got a championship caliber defense. They say offense sells tickets, but by God, defense wins championships, and we got a championship caliber defense. If the good Lord is willing and the creek don't rise, we keep everybody healthy, and we're going to burn our way to Atlanta just like General Sherman. Dylan James, kiss my hind parts. You said you was going to call me after we lose Saturday. I never did hear from you. Where you at? I know you sitting over at NES not doing nothing. RKW, y'all have a great day, and go Big Orange.
Go
is.
There we go. Motivation Tuesday. Who needs it on Wednesday?
He dropped General Sherman. That's crazy.
Goodness gracious.
Hey.
I loved the bathroom reference. Nastier than a bathroom except for Bucky's. Because we all know those are good.
They are always clean
Yeah, they
over
are.
there.
I stopped there yesterday.
Right?
It is.
The solid locked doors
I'm
where you can do
telling
your
you,
business.
Yeah, you ain't got to worry about nobody, man. Big Orange Mac also calling out his enemies, man.
Oh,
he
yeah.
put a name on them and told you where they work at.
Oh, yeah.
Get no better than that. By the way, I've been hearing like these SEC like club group chats and stuff like that on different social media sites. Oklahoma was by far the most brash of all of them, I heard, and I heard they just been crickets. Like they thought they was gonna come in and dominate in the SEC.
Interesting.
Oh, by the way, another name drop. Okay, real quick. I had Wesley Williard text me and Rob Ayers in the group chat. Like, look, yo, you know I hate y'all. And he said a bunch of other words behind it because he hates
y'all, meaning Tennessee.
Tennessee, yeah. He described us in a lot of other non-kind words, man. And he said, but I need y'all to whoop the crap out of Oklahoma because they need to be welcome to the SEC. Like everybody, okay, that was the SEC affiliate hated what Oklahoma thought they was going to do. And I'm glad the Vols could stand tall on primetime TV, man, and deliver for y'all.
Look at that.
Was that a rhyme?
Putting them in their place.
I'm glad that
You're
the
a poet, you
Vols
didn't know it.
could stand tall.
You can make a rhyme anytime.
Does Texas
prime
need this
time.
treatment, though, too?
Texas is just
Texas beat Oklahoma and Tuscaloosa last year.
Yeah, I know. They already had their intro.
They're still new to the SEC, though, right?
Yeah, they're fine.
Texas just
They're on a different level.
When they leapfrog Georgia like that,
But they claim they're the real UT.
Who? What? Kayla,
A lot of people claim a lot of things.
That's what I'm saying. I want to claim a lotto ticket, okay, this last weekend, but I didn't. Okay, there's a lot of false claimants. We call that false flagging here and there, okay? We get it.
I mean, we can call them University of North Mexico if we really want to.
Being honest here, Kayla. Without us, there is no them. Is all I'm telling you, okay? All that big piece of land they got, shout out to us.
Well, what's the rock saying in Moana? You're welcome.
You're welcome.
615-737-1045 is our number. There was lots to react to in the college football world over the weekend. What interested you most outside of what was going on in Norman, Oklahoma? We'll give you our picks on that next.
It's Ramon and Kayla here for Window Nation, letting you know, y'all know what it is, man. Get over to that website or call them because if you buy 2 windows, you get 2 windows free, plus pay nothing with no interest for 2 full years. Don't lose all that good air inside of your home with old, energy-inefficient windows, all right? Simply go over to Window Nation and get you some new energy-efficient ones from Window Nation, Kayla.
Yeah, you can trust us. You can trust one of their thousands and thousands of customers, Albert in particular. He says, great value, great product, great customer service. He highly recommends our friends at Window Nation. Window Nation, they are truly the window experts. Every time they come in, 50-point inspection on every window that's going to leave the factory. And then when you actually get these installed, you're not going to have to get somebody back in there to fix something because once they're installed, they're going to be there. They're going to continue to save you money because they're keeping the energy in. 96% customer satisfaction rating, over 33,000 5-star reviews on Google. And you can be a part of the satisfied customers. All you got to do is check them out at windownation.com for their offer this year, for this month, I should say. It's buy 2 windows, get 2 free, plus no down payment, no interest, no payments for 24 months. Just give them a call at 866-90Nation.
Wrapping up hour one this morning on your Tuesday morning. RKW, Ramon, Kayla, and Will. 615-737-1045. What was the most interesting result of the college football weekend outside of Norman, Oklahoma, guys?
I would actually say, while they did not win this game, I was really surprised with this Mizzou-Vandy game and how that all went down. Obviously, Vanderbilt not able to come out with the win with the missed kick in double overtime. Missouri wins at 30-27, but I really liked how they responded. We spoke about that, I think, a couple days prior to maybe backing down a little against Georgia State and, being able to prepare and be ready for this weekend against a really good Mizzou team. And this game was entertaining from start to finish. I'll tell you that much. It was weird, too, when you look at the stats, because obviously it went into double overtime, but neither teams had turnovers in this game. A big factor, though, was the missed kicks by Missouri, and then also, obviously, the field goal that they missed in the end by Vanderbilt. But I thought that was a really good fight by Vanderbilt. But again, a fight doesn't get the job done all the time, and they weren't able to get the win.
Yeah, I was impressed by them watching that. Love that for them. Hate that for them. Love that for Missouri is where I'm at with that one, man. Because I don't know what Missouri is. Mine would be either. Arkansas and Auburn. And not just the game. One, Taylor Green, I'm a fan of. Watching him run around and throw the ball up and down the field was awesome. But the thing that gets me is Hugh Freeze and his comments post-game. That is by far.
Which ones?
About Sam Pittman. About how I love
there's two different things he said that were a little controversial over the weekend.
Quarterback stuff, too? Yeah. Like, the way he dogged out Sam Pittman, it's like, come on, bro. Don't pull people down into the mud with you like that. Like, how does he continue to get passes when he speaks so reckless like this at times?
The quote post-game was, paraphrasing a bit as I try to effort this.
Yeah, my bad. I'll find it.
Said, here we go, the exact quote.
You got it.
I love Sam Pittman, and I hope he wins the rest of his games, but I'm telling you the hard truth is we play Arkansas 9 more times, we'd beat them 9 times, and that's what's hard to take.
I don't agree with that.
This is who Hugh Freeze is, guys.
Yeah, and Hugh Freeze is showing that he's not necessarily the coach that we thought he would be at Auburn.
I don't think it's that as much as it is off the field. This is just who he is. I mean,
I don't think it benefits Auburn.
He's recruiting really well, and the way they want to build at Auburn is through high school recruiting. That's what he's done, but he has to live with the mistake that he made in the offseason and not getting a transfer portal quarterback to go with his 5-star receivers.
Well,
and it's his own fault.
And now you're doing this thing now where you brought Hank Brown in the last game. You started this game. Now you turn back to Peyton Thorne. Again, I have seen this on numerous occasions covering college football teams. Once you get 2 quarterbacks involved where you don't know what decision you're going to make on any given day, and not one of them has an idea of if they're really going to be the guy, it is an absolute disaster.
Yeah.
Mark my word. This will be a disaster moving forward for Auburn.
Freeze?
This situation this year for their quarterbacks.
Yeah, this year it's going to be awful.
Yeah. I just don't know if you say that type of stuff about like your peers like
No.
that. It's
No,
where
you
I
shouldn't.
was. Yeah, okay. So that's mine for the weekend.
I mean, it's his own fault for not getting a portal quarterback.
Yeah.
I know he tried to get Cam Ward. Like, I know that they looked, but they were confident enough in the guys that they had, unlike anyone else with any allegiance to Auburn. The only people who really thought that they could get by with Peyton Thorne and Hank Brown were the people in that coaching staff, and they were wrong.
Yep, they were wrong.
Let's go to Braden in Shelbyville. Want to talk about Hugh Freeze, 615-737-1045. What's up, Braden?
Good morning, guys. How y'all doing?
Good morning.
Yeah, Ramon kind of stole my thunder there. I pretty much hit all the points I was going to speak on.
My bad.
But, no, you good. But, yeah, I mean, how far over do y'all think he crossed the line on that one? I mean, he pretty much, I mean, I get you try to fire the guys up, but he threw them under the bus. But also, I was going to talk about the Vols a little bit. Not once, but twice, we have blocked somebody all the way to the bench. And I know it's a penalty, but I absolutely love it.
I'm with you, man. Set a tone. Set a tone. That and the running back hitting the sideline and Jacoby Thomas knocking him out like that. Like they had to call their staff over to come get him. They had to peel him up off the turf.
Yeah, I think the other quote that people are talking about with Hugh Freeze was he essentially said, we got to find a quarterback that's not going to give the ball up multiple times. He's not wrong, but again, who picked that guy to be the quarterback?
You recruited
You
him
did.
at that. He wasn't even a transfer portal guy. You
So-
recruited this guy.
And Hugh Freeze, if you listen to the whole press conference, he did take accountability and say, I've got to do a better job and I've got to call better plays and yada, 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 things like that. But not good.
No. And so our guy, how far across the line was it? To me, it's very far. You don't pull nobody else down to lift you up. And that's what he was doing to Sam Pittman in that sense, who's also scraping and scrapping for his job, too, in the sense, right? Like, he's trying to continue to win. He's in a better situation than Sam Pittman in a sense because Sam's, I think, his seat is way hotter than anything that Hugh Freeze has going on right there. So you don't pull him down to lift you up. That was flagrant. Right
Keep
there,
my
in my
coach's
opinion.
name out your mouth.
Yeah, for real. Like, I hope, I'm sorry for your husband, Travis, but I hope they lose every game this year for him saying that type
I mean,
of stuff.
I feel sorry for the fan base. It has nothing to do. I mean, they've suffered through bad decision making and hiring head coaches for a minute now.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this is going to be a failed project once it's all said and done, but it's trending early in that direction. And this is what Auburn fans feel. I mean, they're just as mad. Don't feel sorry for them. They're just as mad.
Michigan passing for 32 yards, their fewest in a game since 1987, and running for 290 to beat USC was very interesting to watch. Very interesting because I think USC is still as good as I thought they were. Like, this confirmed that USC is not as fraudulent of a team and fraudulent of a defense, but a Miller Moss pick six, you weren't able to overcome that, and then just one play. This game comes down to one play. 4th and goal at the 1 yard line. Being able to win with 32 passing yards is impressive. That is a notch in Sharon Moore's belt that is great for him and that program moving forward in recruiting and in him building that thing back up after the Harbaugh era. So credit to Sharon Moore in Michigan for getting the job done. That was a really fun game to watch.
And not just that to me. I mean, the first thing I thought of was USC posting all those, hey, look how bulky we got. And they still got beat down by a traditional Big Ten school on the 4th and 1 on the goal line where they just straight up bodied them. Like, USC, to your point, I think it's there and it's close and it's, can be one of those teams moving forward. But the Big Ten, this is what they do. They got some big old corn-fed boys with running backs with thighs like tree trunks that run, okay? Like, and until they either figure out they need to get bigger in L.A. or they decide to recruit different, like, this is how I would attack them.
If I were to ask you, how many defensive linemen does USC have on its roster over 300 pounds? What would you guess?
Probably
would
like
say
1.
2,
3.
3.
USC has 3 defensive linemen that are listed over 300 pounds, which means they probably only have 1 offensive line that's actually, or defensive lineman who's actually 300 pounds.
Exactly. And that's the thing. I mean, you clearly saw in that game against LSU to start the season a massive improvement in the defense. The defense has been an issue at USC for years, not just under Lincoln Riley. And it did not improve last year either, even with Caleb Williams, running that well-oiled offense. It didn't matter because they were losing games because they were getting ran over. They improved that, and you saw that, but it is a different caliber and a Big Ten schedule at that when you're traveling, and now you're going to get into the cold months too, where you know what type of football they're going to play in the Big Ten. I think that's going to be a little taxing on USC in the beginning, but that's the thing. You move conferences, you've got to learn how to recruit and to play that way too. And it does start up front. You got to get beefier dudes on both sides.
615-737-1045 coming up. Tyler Boyd says the Tennessee Titans have a Super Bowl caliber roster. We'll hear that audio and react to it next. Hey, it's Will Bowling. To all my facility managers out there, how are your electrical fixtures doing? Do you have a flickering light or two? Maybe you've got power outlets that are inconsistent. You're looking to install a generator. You just want to be prepared for the next big storm. It's certainly that time of year here in Middle Tennessee. Well, no matter what your electrical problem is, I'm here to tell you the team at Lee Company is here to help. And I love working with these guys because over 80 years, their expert electricians have been here to make your life easier and keep your place of business running efficiently. That's the name of the game with Lead Company. The best news, they are available 24/7, 365. Call Lead Company today at 615-567-1000 or contact them online at leadcompany.com. Professional electricians for any type of facility, whatever you're doing, Lead Company, they can help you out. 615-567-1000. They're online at leadcompany.com. That's Lead Company, all you need.
What's going on? 7:03. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I am Robert Walsh. Doubleheader on Monday Night Football where the Bills drug the Jaguars 47-10. Trevor Lawrence's struggles continue as he finished 21 of 38 for 178 yards, a touchdown, and an interception as the Jags fall to 0-3. Commanders with an early candidate for Game of the Year as they get the win over the Bengals 38-33 in the first game since at least 1940, in which neither team had to punt the ball or had a turnover. Another big stat. No team in the Super Bowl era has done what the Commanders just did. 2 consecutive games with 0 turnovers and 0 punts. Brian Callahan spoke to the media yesterday to give an update on the Titans' injury front and had this to say.
Just starting out, we're probably going to end up. Cheeto's got a groin. Probably miss him for some weeks at this point. Significant enough. What that timeline is remains to be seen, but I would expect him to miss some time. Jeff's got an elbow. Simmons has an elbow issue that's probably day to day.
For all your foundation repair and your waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Seven o'clock is hour number 2 begins this morning on Ramon, Kayla, and Will. RKW, Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, Will Bowling, 615-737-1045, the number. Coming up at 8:20, Austin Price, 9:20, Ron Slay in the F&M Bank chat, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. And I said last week that the Titans would not lose to Malik Willis, and, well, of course they did. I picked a really good day to go to a concert on Sunday. I thought about bringing a clown hat in this morning because I'm that big of a doofus for assuming the Titans could beat Malik Willis. I clearly was wrong. Yeah. Malik Willis clearly is better than I thought, and the Titans are not as good at tackling open field guys, including Malik Willis, as I thought. So Malik Willis, congratulations. Good job. You have made more of an NFL career out of yourself than I ever thought you would. You are a good backup quarterback in this league, and my goodness, the Titans could not tackle you on Sunday. And that is raising some red flags. However, the only flag that I will raise is the I'm an idiot flag this morning. So I will
but I think a lot of people,
fake wave this morning.
I think a lot of people thought they were going to win that game, not necessarily because it was, Malik Willis can't play, because we did see them really be able to tailor the offense the week before to him with, many of that being design runs. But then who would have thunk that Matt LaFleur, very good coach, very good offensive mind, was able to expand that game plan, change things up, be creative with Malik in week 2 against his former team. Yeah. And again, I think what people thought with the Titans having a chance going into last weekend was the defense. We all felt comfortable with what we'd seen from the defense in the first 2 weeks. And then the defense took 16 steps back. And that's what was shocking.
To me, that's where that's where it hits home too, is what was working consistently got dismantled big time by this Green Bay team and Malik Willis. When he opened up the game for a 30-yard completion, I was like, did not see that. I thought he was just going to hand the ball off and get a maybe 2 to 5 yard gain or something like that. When they opened up like that, it was just like Dr. Evil was on the other side with something. Like that's all you can really think. But again, hats off to Malik. He played a heck of a game. And not only just that, to be able to gain the trust of your play caller, I thought was super unique on him. And, hey, to the victor goes the spoils. They were looking for you yesterday, too, Will. They were.
Of course they were.
Yeah,
I was wrong, so I deserve it.
I didn't want to started to call you, but I figured you just see it.
I think people will go a little overboard with saying, and we always do this with backup quarterbacks, like, he can be a starting quarterback. Like, I've already seen that in the chat this morning on YouTube of, he'll be a starting quarterback somewhere next year. No. I mean, he's a good backup quarterback. Right. Which is still more than I thought he would be. I thought he was closer to UFL than he was NFL. But again, I do think the Packers have surrounded him with a great scheme and a great head coach from an offensive perspective, and they got a good line, and he's got guys to throw to, and he looked good.
Yeah.
I mean, he looked really good. I didn't think he was, amazing. I don't think he was great, but he didn't have to be.
We looked at the rosters yesterday.
Titans couldn't tackle.
Yeah.
Like, the rosters is just night and day, though. Green Bay's probably got about 75% of their own draft picks on their squad, which means they built.
He has time to throw.
Yeah, they built this program. They built their organization through their own guys, and that goes a long way too, man.
That's a premier organization.
It is, and it just shows again how far the Titans have to go to get to that point. To me,
well, Tyler Boyd thinks otherwise. Titans wide receiver talking to the media yesterday. We have the audio of him talking about the Titans having a Super Bowl caliber roster yesterday at Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park.
We try to make every play that comes our way, just to help him, regardless of how the pass looks and things like that, because, he's under a lot of stress and things like that. We know he's been through a lot with the social media, and he's been getting a lot of, static from them guys, and he's trying to block that out at the same time and play good, But at the end of the day, we just got to have his back, just like he got our back. If he make a mistake, we got to ride with that. We still a team, but the only thing we can do is just go out there and help make a play to make him forget about that bad play that he made, and vice versa. That's just how football is. Football is it's a crazy game, man. Like, if you don't got 11 guys out there dominating at once and out executing their job more than the other guy across from them, then it's you're gonna fall short every time, And like I said, man, we should have. Green Bay was a great team, but we just didn't tie it together.
Feeling as you guys came in here today, and what's the confidence level you guys can get this ship righted and get on track?
Yeah, man, it's just confidence. We just got to continue to just speak it. Just try not to hang our heads and put our heads down. And it's a tough time. I didn't been around it, so me coming in, I didn't feel any type of stress or doubt that we still can't get the job done. Because if you look in the conference, you got 2 wins with Texans and Colts got a 1 win. And, it's still winnable. We're not in week 10, week 11, 12. Where it's time to put. It's time. Like, you got to go. Like all of us, no guy has played a perfect game. The offense hasn't played perfect yet. And once we start to get that feel and just have that confidence, man, I don't really know what it is yet. That's why we got to continue to watch the tape and get better every day. But we have a legit team. Like, this is a Super Bowl caliber team on paper. But at the end of the day, we got to go out there and prove that.
Thoughts?
I think, and he spoke for a while up there. He spoke a lot before he said we have a Super Bowl type of roster on paper. And on paper, yes, there are a lot of names on that roster. There are a lot of additions they made in the offseason with free agents that make it look like they could be that type of team, especially when the defense started the year like they did. Because it is taking the offense to click a little more. And he said in a previous clip from yesterday, the relationship and chemistry is just not there yet with this offense. And that's something that I think they all expected a little bit of that coming out of the gates because it was all new. And you had a lot of new moving parts with the new head coach that is the offensive play caller. But I don't think he's totally wrong with the on paper part. I just don't know now, starting 0-3, if you were able to get that going quicker, maybe I would say, yeah, this could be a playoff team. Possibly if they get on a roll, they could, go all the way. But this isn't even close right now with the start they've had. And I feel like there's been steps taken back by the defense now that it's hard to even think that could be the case. Could they win and rattle off 9 straight wins? Sure.
But is that Super Bowl contender?
Well, on paper,
I don't think it is at all.
That's what I'm saying. At this point, no, because they've started 0-3, and there's still a lot of mistakes that are being, had on the field, and there's still a lot of building with this offense that he said straight out. They have not the chemistry and relationship right now that they need to have. That's going to take at least, 3 more games? So at that point, that's not a super caliber team.
To me, I don't think that was the biggest comment. His biggest comment in that one was, I don't really know how to get it going. Or I'm paraphrasing what he says. Like, I don't really know what the answer is. Like, as far as like wins and losses, like how to get the offense going, how to win a game. I think that was the biggest statement that he could have said of all the things that he said yesterday, because I feel like that's where the squad is at. Offense, you thought you had it as far as the skill guys. That's not there yet. And then the biggest answer that you had was the defense got exposed this past weekend. And not just exposed, 188 yards on the ground, too. Oh, Super Bowl caliber roster, Will? No, not yet. You're too young at left tackle to actually be there yet. Peter's still figuring it out. You got a center still figuring it out. You got a right tackle. Never mind. No, it's not there yet.
I mean, that's the crazy thing is you're too young a left tackle, but your left tackle is your best offensive lineman.
It is.
He's been balling for
J.C.
2 weeks.
Latham is the best guy you have. You can't lead the NFL in pressure rate allowed this year at 47% and consider yourself Super Bowl caliber.
No
way.
He said, but I'm saying on
Not
paper.
even close.
But he's saying on paper.
I know.
I think those
I'm
are
also
two
saying,
different things.
I'm saying on paper, too. They're not Super Bowl caliber on paper.
to
they don't
start
have an
the
offensive
year,
line.
To start the year, maybe he thought they would be, and I'm speaking from Tyler Boyd's words, like maybe coming here, maybe you think on paper this could be that type of team because he played for Callahan before, right? He obviously believes in him. I mean, now though, no, not at all.
On paper, maybe they're a 10-win team, but I didn't ever think on paper this was a Super Bowl contending team.
I thought they could have got frisky. I thought they could have reeled off more than the over-under in Vegas. Like, I said...
Get yourself in the dance and you never know, right?
And I can say, I said with what I thought they were going to be capable of doing, they can potentially make the playoffs, is what I said earlier this
100%.
year. And looking at it on paper, like, I knew it was certain years in Pittsburgh, like, we were going to be good, but we weren't a Super Bowl team. Like, and I can say that, and most players can say that, too. Like,
then why did he say
if
that,
the ball bounced
you
your
think?
way...
I don't know.
Why did he say that?
I think he's wrong.
Because he wants to win.
Yeah.
I think the optimism of coming to a new
Because
team...
he's about as straight shooter as you get in that locker room.
I think he believes
He's not going to, you know, candy coat things. He's just so I wonder. I'm just asking you. You don't have to get mad about it. I'm just, you know,
no one's mad.
No, I know,
We're just
but I'm just
having a
trying to
discussion.
figure out like why you think he said that.
I don't
That's
know
all
why
I'm saying.
I think he said it, but here's the thing about players for the most part, too, especially if they've won recently in Cincinnati, you always think you're going to win. The thing is, knowing that, hey, it's hard to win a Super Bowl, I don't think he fully understands that, too. You got to think he's already gone to the Super Bowl in a year that they weren't supposed to go.
Right.
So that's probably what he's feeling like, in the idea that, look, in Joe Burrow's second year, we did it. Like, that's the only logic I have to go off of what he said.
Yeah, because it is weird, but I don't think he really even believes that.
Let's continue this when we come back then. 615-737-1045. We'd love to hear from you. What are your thoughts on Tyler Boyd saying this is a Super Bowl caliber roster? We'll get your reaction next.
What's going on, guys? Bert and Ramon here for the original hot chicken. That's Princess Hot Chicken, and it doesn't matter where you're at, whether you're partying on Broadway, going to an NSC game at Geodis, or headed out to the airport, there's a Princess near you, Ramon.
It is, Bert, and you can also get one coming in and going out of the city, too, at B&A, man. If you hadn't also been out to the Tanger outlets out at Cane Ridge Parkway, you need to go see this great shopping and also stop for a great lunch or dinner. Just that simply, man. They got all the fixings that you can think of to match their hot chicken there. Again, 5 locations around the city, man. Get to them. And if you also need catering done, visit princesshotchicken.com.
RKW, Ramon, Kayla, and Will, 104.5 The Zone, 615-737-1045 is our number. Tyler Boyd said yesterday that he thinks the Titans have a Super Bowl caliber roster. You react on the phones at 615-737-1045. Caples is in Springfield up first. What's up, Caples?
Hey, Mr. Bolin, how you doing, man? I thought you
I'm
was
good.
ducking yesterday, man.
That was an absence that has been set for about 90 days. Enjoyed Morgan
I know
Wallen
they
at Neyland
told me,
Stadium.
man.
It was good.
They told me, bro. But, hey, I appreciate you owning that, though, the way you did, though, this morning, man. Give Malik his props, bro. I appreciate that from you. But
let me ask you something real quick, Caples.
Go ahead.
With what you saw yesterday, and just in general, would you want Malik to be your franchise quarterback for the future? With all that being said.
Not in Tennessee because they don't have a style of offense that fits them.
Okay.
exactly.
So you can love both is what we're saying. The fact that he's somewhat flourishing, but not also want him to be your quarterback here.
Like, a real fan understood he had talent that needed to be developed, but he needed to be in a system that utilized him. That wasn't going to happen here. Me and Cuzzo Mike used to talk about that all the time. It's like trying to put a round peg in a square. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He needed to be somewhere where somebody was going to use his talents, and that's what they doing. And I'm saying, think about it. How many teams out here right now would like to have Malik as they backup? The Raiders, the Dolphins. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the talent got to fit too, the scheme. And if the talent don't fit the scheme, you know that, Ramon.
Yeah, I just wanted to hear your perspective because it's been a lot of folks behind it barking, and I was just like, oh, okay, let me see if you actually want him. Like, all right, do you really want her to be your girlfriend, or you just like taking her on dates? You know what I'm saying? Like, which one is it? And that's what I just wanted to know.
If the situation was better, that would be your girlfriend.
Okay.
But you knew that situation wasn't gonna work.
There it is.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Okay.
Love y'all, man. I'll hit y'all later.
All right, for sure.
Thanks, Caples.
Caples in Springfield.
That was a great answer. That's what I really wanted to hear. Like, I'll date you, but I won't marry you type of thing. Right. And that's essentially what I think a lot of folks are saying when it comes down to Malik Willis coming back here.
And we discussed this on this show so many times. We almost thought I'm not going to use felt sorry for, but it was kind of the wrong situation to be drafted here in the first place with the type of quarterback he is. And you didn't necessarily think that could be developed in that amount of time. And I will give Bo Hardigree and staff credit for helping in the last, several months leading up to the season. They did help with his development, but he went to a system that furthered his development and that worked for him. And LaFleur definitely helps in that situation too.
Yeah, he got better.
Mm-hmm.
He did something I didn't think he would do. He did not look like an NFL quarterback for 2 years, and this year he now is one. Full credit. I mean,
for sure.
It's a good lesson to all of us that guys are not their final form when they get their first opportunity. Sometimes they are. Sometimes guys don't improve and they are who they are. That was not the case with Malik. He got better. Full credit to him. He's a hard worker, and he deserves all the credit being given to him right now because he has taken an opportunity and he has literally run with it, run away from Titans defenders with it. Mike in Cleveland is next, 615-737-1045. What's up, Mike?
CNC, full effect. What up, Cape? What up, my brother Cable? Yo, Will. Yo, bro. Appreciate you. Cable's just said all of that. But, we did talk about that with Malik. For the past 2 years, it's just not a good situation. But I want to talk about Tyler Boyd and that Super Bowl comment. And, we got some shiny pieces that look great. It's like we moved into a new house that looks great on the outside. You dig what I'm saying? Shutters is still up. Ain't got no bars on the window. Maybe some little flowers out there. You know what I'm saying? But the inside, the structure of it, it's not together. We reconstructing, our insides. You feel me? And I think the biggest thing right now is we have a lack of confidence, and I think it really showed with that fourth down call. He was sending the punt team out there. Then when people started to boo, he was like, all right, we'll give it a try. But when they showed Callahan, he just didn't have any confidence on his face. And I think with all of these memes and even before that, I was saying after the first game, I didn't feel that Callahan was calling that game with real confidence in Levis. And I'm not out on the team. I'm not out on the season. I still believe in my squad. They can turn it around, but I think they need to find confidence, and I think they need to find some leaders. And I think Callahan has really got to develop he's still developing. He's learning on the job what, being a head coach is all about. And I think, like I said yesterday, this is all just going to take time. So you going to ride with us or you going to fall off? Which one you going to do? You dig? And that's all I got, man. Y'all be blessed.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Maybe fill up the gas tank or whatever was beeping there. I'm sure
I know. Who knows? Because he's driving trucks, so got to fill that sucker up once in a while, right?
Bam is in Nashville next. 615-737-1045. Go ahead, Bam.
Yo, what's good, y'all?
Hey, Bam.
Morning.
Yo, first off, to answer your question about what's beeping with Mike's truck, that's him speeding. That's his truck.
Oh,
That's what his truck is doing. His truck is saying, slow down, Mike.
Hey, you ain't got a narc on him.
That's what I was saying. Ooh, he's snitching. Don't do no crime with Bam, boy. Hey, they over there in the bushes, y'all.
My dog all day. I can do that. Look, him and Cable see y'all in a group chat together, so I'm finna hear about it. I ain't worried about
truck
it.
secrets.
Look, I think Tyler Boyd these guys have to feel like that, man. Like, you got to live by I am my brother's keeper. And you got to live by no matter what we are, like the adversity that we're going through right now, we got to be able to figure this out. We got to be able to figure this out. Like, we got to stand for each other because the media don't believe in us. We got to believe. Like, it's an ugly situation right now, but it's like, I'm not going to get out here and say that as a professional athlete that I can't go out here and be just as great, if not greater than you. It's just one of them things where it's like we just have to figure out how to put it together. We got to figure out how to do what we need to do as a squad together. They got to find it. They have to find some type of cohesion, but it's not like they don't have the talent to do it. We done been here before. We done started off 0-4 before. I don't like it. Nobody likes it. It's a rough feeling. It's hard to get over. But, look, all it takes is one win to turn it around. Like, if we can find a way to win Monday, and then if we could beat Indy, we right back in the division race. It's not like we out. We down, but we ain't out. So, football was one of them things where, Ramon, can you please just go get your license?
No, sir.
Thank you, Ben. Appreciate the call.
No, sir.
But where I disagree with that is that I don't think it's just chemistry and working together and cohesion. Like, there are guys that needed to take a step forward who are not getting better. On the topic of guys get better sometimes, I think we all expected Peter Skoronski to be a much better version of himself than he has been this year. I think we expected Nicholas Petit-Frere to be a better version of himself, and he just looks like a new version of Andre Dillard and Dennis Daly, unfortunately. So does that go down to chemistry, or does that go down to, well, maybe these guys just aren't as good as we thought they were?
I think it's that. Just expectations versus reality in a sense to me, because, again, I expected MPF to come in with a little bit more moxie in his game, a little bit more grit, a little bit more push to it, and to see him, I ain't going to say willy-nilly on the sideline after being benched, but like willy-nilly on the sideline after being benched is not okay. You know what I'm saying? I heard the TV cameras pan to him and he didn't have his helmet. Mm-hmm. They were asking questions like, where's his helmet at? And that to me was more bothersome than anything. And again, he's a guy that was taken before this last regime took over, right? In the sense of like the type of guys they want. The one thing about Peter, I'll say this, Peter Skoronski at left guard, I do think the need and the want to be good shows. I see frustration with him. I don't know if I necessarily see that out of the right tackle spot. You know what I'm saying? And that also goes to watching Duncan, too. And I'm just like, well, where's the answer? I expected when MPF came back that the answer would be given to us, and he just run with this thing. Athletic ability check, played big-time ball, had football taken away from him last year. And here we are watching him. I heard people joking about it, talking about he's twerking, giving up sacks. Like, come on, man. What are we doing? Like, what are we doing? The face down, behind up is what was happening on Sunday. And that right there, usually when you see that, you throw a couple dollars in the air and just move about your business, okay? It's not okay, all right? And like I get where stop. Will
Rashawn Gary got some Magic City wings on the field on Sunday.
Lemon pepper Lewis.
That's right.
What I'm saying is this: the concept and what I think Tyler Boyd was speaking of is there. Like, you can compete and get frisky, but you got to have a whole lot of luck when you have a roster that's figuring this thing out, too.
Super Bowl was just a very strong phrase that I think is not right.
I just don't know if we can make that much of that. He had a whole lot to say before he came to that ending of his sentence or ending of his, statement that he was making, because I think he realizes, too, like we've all said on here, this team still has to give itself hope that it can string together some wins. And it might not have started that way. Maybe they thought, again, with the pieces that they've added, this is a team that can get to that level. Again, Super Bowl, I think, is high, but when you're a competitor, you're going to use those types of things to motivate yourself and possibly to motivate your teammates. But I think the biggest thing I took from him just yesterday as a whole is there is still a lot of work that needs to be done on the offense with. When I say relationship and chemistry, when I hear that coming out of his mouth, I think more so from the wide receiver perspective, coming from Will Levis and, the wide receivers. But it does start up front, absolutely. And we all spoke about Bill Callahan being, this guy who's going to come in and maybe instantly fix all of these things. I think we're realizing, too, some of that is going to take time. And when you're given a certain piece, it's not... even if you're the best of the best, right? You can't necessarily fix it within a few games. And you're hoping Bill can help with these individuals, but how much time do you give them? And that's the biggest question, because it's not as easy as a fix as we thought it would be.
Tyler Boyd did also talk about the offensive line a little bit and what he has seen from those guys. This was the Titans receiver yesterday.
This ain't the last team that we're going to play, that we're going to go against a crazy front. There's guys in this league that's going to get after the quarterback. So we just got to figure out ways to give Will outlets, quick throws, and give him ways to get rid of the ball sooner and not holding back as much. Because like you watch that game and everybody look at the line like our line is terrible. Like, we don't really have a terrible line. We just got to make different adjustments. Maybe we wasn't prepared for certain stunts and looks that they was giving us, because they didn't really have a lot of stuff on tape. They got new coaches. They got a whole new structure how they run operation. And, that's just something you got to kind of deal with as you're playing football. You got to kind of try to figure out ways on the go. It was probably certain fronts that we didn't even prepare for at all. So I don't put none of that on the O-line. We just got to figure out how we can eliminate that. Maybe we got to do a little bit more chips on the DNs, with the receivers, which I do usually in this offense, but we started behind, so we kind of had to force it and throw it as much usually, because we're kind of a balanced team. We kind of didn't run as much as we wanted to, 30 yards, I think, and, that's not good enough, so we got to kind of relieve that stress or pressure. We're going to come out and pass it, it will make it harder for the line, to make the blocks every single time.
So Tyler Boyd says that Brian Callahan talked at his show with Titans Radio last night about how a lot of the issues right now are passing off the stunts, the different looks, and just not being prepared. It's not as much even getting beat one-on-one. I think for NPF it is, but for a lot of the other situations, I think that is an interesting perspective. That, to me, is a much better analysis of where the Titans are versus, well, we have a Super Bowl caliber roster, but we're not that is specifics that I like hearing more.
Yeah.
Well, that was most of his presser. That was one little part of the Super Bowl thing that's almost like a teaser to suck people in, because it's something he said, yes, but it's not the majority of what he talked about yesterday.
Sure, but it does discredit a lot of the other things he says when he says they got a Super Bowl roster. This is not a Super Bowl roster.
Right. And to that point, he said that. And whether he believed it or not, it's in the atmosphere for us to discuss. So it ain't a fact of us picking that apart. It's just the reality of I get it. He's super pressed. They are to win games, and you feel like the roster is better than what they've played like. And it's better off saying that. And we as players say a lot of words. I know I said a lot of words.
I mean, you talk to the media 3 times a week.
But with that being said, the reality of it is figuring out how to win is deeper than just saying we have the players to do it. And to the point that we just heard a second ago, like, it's more than just the players. Sure. It's the fit. It's the scheme. It's the capitalizing on first downs, being balanced. Like, he mentioned being balanced, but, like, how balanced was it whenever, you look at that situation this past weekend, and he's speaking about getting the ball out quick or running the ball. You attempted those things against a good Green Bay team this past weekend. And if you look back at the pick six that Will Levis threw this weekend, it was 1-2 and throw. That's getting the ball out quick. That's also, and I thought about it last night, it's very similar to what we saw against the Seahawks in 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's the exact same play. Going to Mason Kinsey on the outside.
1-2 throw, and it was picked off. Just like that.
That's the thing, is that you're going to have guys now sitting on the quick game. And so that's the other part of it, is you're throwing it with the expectation that the guy's going to be there, because if you double pump a little bit, then
you might get sacked.
So in the quick game, it's got to come out. And for all the people complaining of, why don't they just try to get the ball out quickly? Well, they did. They threw a pick six.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the other thing is, if you look at that play, they're sitting at the sticks. By the sticks, I mean the defense and linebackers dropped to 10 yards at where the first down was, and they had two safeties up top. And at that point, I mean, Jair Alexander had every opportunity to jump that, because he had the safety over the top if he had done a double move. And it's also the other side of it, is like, does D-Hop need to come back to the ball? Does he, like, there's a lot of that goes into it. So I know what Tyler is getting at. You want to win, but you just don't know how to right now. And the last time, I said before, we started 0-4 in 2013. I'm saying it right now. 8-8 to finish the season, didn't make the playoffs. And you know what we did after the bye, coming back from London? We had a major reset. Here's the thing about this team right here, right now. They are already trying to run the ball. They are already trying to find a rhythm. Where is the actual answers to getting it done? Is it just, all right, the players got to grow up quicker? Plays have to be made? Or where is the playmaking going to be done? I hate to even mention the Carolina Panthers situation, but, like, at some point, you do got to get that monkey off your back and figure out, how do we get a win? And right now, I don't know at this point, considering what I thought the defense was going to do to Green Bay last weekend, and it didn't happen. I ain't confused, but it's just like, where's the answer, the actual answer?
615-737-1045. We can take more of your reaction coming up next on Tyler Boyd's comments on the Titans' issues at this point, as they feel like they have got a better team in that building than what they have shown on the field. 615-737-1045. More of your reaction next.
If you want an engagement ring that she'll be proud to wear, there's only one place to go, and that's Genesis Diamonds. Genesis has cornered the market on all the world-class designers. These New York and Los Angeles-based designers are the best of the best. Every store wants them. A few stores make the cut. Genesis, though, guess what? They made the cut and has all the luxury brands, all the ones women are asking for. So don't settle. Get her a ring of her dream at Genesis, and don't think you'll pay more either. Genesis has complete ready-to-wear designer rings as low as $1,900. And, of course, no jeweler can beat the price of Genesis diamonds. Whether you want natural diamonds or lab-grown diamonds, Genesis has the guaranteed best price and the highest quality. And only Genesis gives you 120% diamond upgrade guarantee plus free service for life. All of this with no commission salespeople, no pressure ever to buy. Nobody delivers for you like Genesis when it comes to quality, value, selection, warranties, or just simply customer care. Get the deal you deserve on your diamonds at Genesis Diamonds, and now with the expanded selection of luxury pre-owned Rolex watches, all hard to find models too. Check them out. Genesis Diamonds. They're located in Green Hills and Cool Springs.
RKW, Ramon, Kayla, and Will live on 104.5 The Zone on the phone lines at 615-737-1045. Coming up in a half hour, we will get back to Vols football discussion with our good friend Austin Price of VolQuest. There is a recruiting battle happening as we speak for Tennessee. Very important for 2025 that we will get into with Austin in addition to Tennessee-Oklahoma reaction. But we've been reacting here in hour 2 to Tyler Boyd's comment that the Titans have a Super Bowl caliber roster, and diving into that more. Let's go back to the phones where Kyle is in Shelbyville talking Titans this morning. What's up, Kyle?
What's going on, guys?
What's up?
We're kind of in a no man's land right now. If we bench Will, we don't find out if we have a quarterback for the future. And if we put Rudolph in, I mean, he's a statue back there. We're not going to figure out anything with that. We're not going to win any games with that either behind this line. And think about this. Patrick Mahomes couldn't win a game with this line. Look at that Super Bowl. There was no way he had a shot. He was running for his life and didn't win. So, I mean, if you don't have a line, you don't have a team. So, that's just where I'm at with this right now. What do y'all think?
Thank you, Kyle.
And that's why I'm curious as to, are we not talking enough about what we just discussed a little bit last segment on Bill Callahan and the development part? Because I can believe we all spoke about this coming into the season. With that roster, even knowing there were some younger parts, we felt confident in adding a guy like Bill Callahan. So are we not talking enough about Bill Callahan and, you know, what is the responsibility of him moving forward?
Are you suggesting that he's not good enough to do it?
No,
I'm
because we gave a lot about him being the guy that can fix things.
Yeah, but I don't think any of us thought that it was going to be fixed in year one, though. Should they be better? Yeah, I think that there was an expectation that they were going to be better. But again, this is their first offseason and his system learning it with a bunch of new guys that he's trying to figure out who the heck they are, too. And still, Peter, learning left guard. You got a rookie. You got a new center. Like, they really don't even know each other like that, too. So I'm not fully blaming Bill Callahan on this one. I think what we've seen a couple of times or two is immaturity of the way they set as far as the pressures in games and stunts that they've been getting. There's been a lot of leakage there. The most glaring thing is just the way you lose one-on-one battles and stuff. Like in Chicago, JC got by Darrell Taylor, right? And that's okay. But last 2 weeks, he corrected. What we haven't seen is a correction off the right side. And that's where, to me, I can't blame Bill Callahan for that. Heck, at that point, he did what he was supposed to do. He benched him. So, I'm not putting it all on him.
And I didn't say the word blame. I said, did we expect more development at this point?
It still, to me, take years to see it. And we had a lot of good happen this offseason with a lot of good coaches around, too. And I think that changed our projection on what we thought was going to happen. I still think they are where they should be in a sense of just growth. We said that. What did this group have to have happen? I remember saying on 3HL, they got to have some bad and some adversity. They're there now. I think Lord Cushenberry had the worst game of his professional career this past weekend, according to what I saw on PFF, in the run game and the pass game.
Yeah, I think for Bill, the positive is that he handpicked one of the Titans' starting 5 offensive linemen, and that's the best one they have. It's J.C. Latham. So I think part of the Bill Callahan effect is going to be not just developing the guys he has, but handpicking the ones that you choose moving forward. And right now, only one of these guys was picked, through the draft process with Bill Callahan's advice, and that's J.C. Latham, and he's really good.
Yep.
I expected more from Peter Skoronski. I will say that. I expected him alone to be better than what he has been. Ratings at NPF don't surprise me. I think those are longer projects, but I expected Skoronski to be better.
Oh, I'll take the same approach we did somewhat with Malik. I'll give him 3.
Yeah, you have said, Ramon has said for over a year that year 3 is where the really big jump should be for offensive linemen.
He's getting a lot of reps this year.
Let's go to Matthew in Clarksville coming up next. What's up, Matthew?
Good morning.
Morning.
I got weather coming this afternoon. The Weather Service just put out a bulletin.
Did they?
They're calling for tornadic activity this afternoon, and they advise the safest place to be is the Titans' end zone because there ain't going to be many touchdowns there.
Oh, no. We got jokes now on the show.
Matthew.
Get out of here.
Jeez Louise.
I don't know your age, okay, but it sounds like you're a seasoned individual. Why you call her playing like that, Matthew?
Matthew, you used to be better than this.
When he was talking to
No
me, I was like,
touchdowns.
"Oh, this is an actual weather report." Okay, what do you got, man?
Right.
Like, did it touchdown already? He's like, "No, it ain't gonna happen in Nissan." I was like,
Oh,
"Let me
no.
put your ass on hold real quick."
To Kyle's point, too, about Patrick Mahomes couldn't win behind this line. Yes, he could. He could. I mean, 2 of the sacks 2 weeks in a row have been attributed to Will Levis for holding on to the ball too long. So I think we also got to be honest and give the offensive line a little bit of grace that I don't think this quarterback is very good at playing behind a bad offensive line. He doesn't know where to go with the ball too often, in my opinion.
My other
Just
statement
my
on top of that is not believable yet. I don't believe defenses believe that Will Levis can win it for you.
Yeah,
the
that's right.
reason you said Patrick Mahomes could do it is because he's done it before. Jaden Daniels did it last night, right? And I hated that I had this thought, but I was thinking to myself and watching Jaden Daniels cook last night. Like, do you see that in your quarterback here? Well, what Jaden Daniels showed. He also has, again, 2 back-to-back winning weekends. Will has yet to, and I ain't all blaming Will. I mean, he's under pressure and everything like that. But is it? I said yesterday with Kayla, Will, I was like, this offense isn't believable right now.
No.
Well, yeah, and again, Tyler Boyd admitted that they're not on the right page yet. And I think another thing that you think about is Will Levis really put himself in a major hole to start the 2 first games because of the stupid stuff he was doing. That dug yourself a hole. And that takes a while to dig out of, and you're not doing anything right now to do that. It didn't happen in the last game. You didn't get much help for your defense, but you didn't help yourself either.
Yeah.
The Titans are Auburn right now. Auburn football and the Titans are in the same spot. When you make really, really bad mistakes and turn the ball over and over and over again, you can't make the statement of, oh, well, we'd usually win that game. Because ultimately, that just kind of is who you are at some point. And I think that's where we're at. This team just kind of is what it is in terms of the team that makes really big mistakes that cost them points. And that's on Will Levis. That's on Jeffrey Simmons. That's on
special teams.
A lot of blame that's being shared over a lot of players right now, unfortunately. 615-737-1045 is our number. Brian Callahan did talk about Nicholas Petit-Frere yesterday and talked about the right tackle position. An interesting analysis from the head coach, and we will get to that next.
What's going on, guys? Everybody knows it's tough to have a peace of mind when things are going wrong with your house, and even worse when it's your roof. Well, North Point Roofing Systems wants to give you peace of mind by taking care of that roof for you, Ramon.
You or somebody you know, man, if you ever priced a roof out, you know what an incredible opportunity this is. North Point Roofing Systems is giving away a free roof, okay? It's that simple. All you got to do is visit 1045 The Zone and register for you or for somebody. The holiday season coming up, Bert, okay? Have you ever had a roof gifted to you? The answer is no. I know you haven't, okay? But listen, get over and get this done, man. Go to 1045thezone.com and register to get a free roof from you, for you or somebody else with North Point Roofing Systems.
What's going on? 8:02. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I am Robert Walsh. Doubleheader on Monday Night Football as the Bills drug the Jaguars 47-10. Trevor Lawrence's struggles continue as he finished 21 of 38 for 178 yards, a touchdown, and an interception as the Jacksonville Jaguars fall to 0-3. Commanders with early candidates for Game of the Year as they get their win over the Bengals 38-33 in the first game since 1940. In which neither team punted the ball or had a turnover. And the Commanders doing something that no Super Bowl era team has done. 2 consecutive games, 0 turnovers and 0 punts. Brian Callahan spoke to the media yesterday to give an update on the Titans' injury situation headed into Week 4.
Just starting out, we're probably going to end up. Cheeto's got a groin. Probably miss him for some weeks at this point. It's significant enough. What that timeline is remains to be seen, but I would expect him to miss some time. Jeff's got an elbow. Simmons has an elbow issue that's probably day to day.
For all your foundation repair and your waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
And the show goes on into hour number 3, second half of your Tuesday morning. RKW, Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, Will Bowling. Coming up in 15 minutes, VolQuest's Austin Price will discuss Tennessee and Oklahoma with us, plus a major recruiting battle as Tennessee looks to keep one of its biggest commitments with a Big Ten power. Calling 615-737-1045 is our number. You stream the show live on 104.5 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. Brian Callahan, yesterday, talking about Nicholas Petit-Frere, was asked specifically about the right tackle, about what he saw from him in a game against the Green Bay Packers where 12 defenders recorded at least 1 pressure, 8 sacks, tied for the most by any team in a game this season. And Callahan had this to say about his right tackle.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll let those guys play it out. I think that really at the core of the game yesterday, Nick played well enough, but his 3 real bad plays were real bad plays, and that's sort of what the issue is it's the consistency, and we'll see. I'm not going to make any commentary on that until we get through a week of practice and see where everybody's at, but. After that sack fumble, it was just we needed to make a change in the moment in the game, and I'm not going to say that it's a permanent one or anything like that, but we just needed something different at that point.
So that's interesting, and I think unfortunately that is a theme for this team right now. There's some good things happening, and then there are a couple of really big mistakes that are undoing a lot of the good.
And he said it. You got his true answer right there. He's doing well enough. Well enough. Think about that, though. He was trying to be nice there, and that's just simply what it was, in my opinion, man. You gotta have better play out of a guy that is in his 3rd year that, pretty much walked into that starting position at that point. When he came out to practice, I think we all knew it was like, yeah, he's going to be his spot to steal. His spot to stop right there, and it's folded big time.
And I think the issue with that right now and why there's so many questions is I don't think there's much of an answer behind it. And we saw he graded out by Pro Football Focus with a 48.3 in pass protection. That's awful. Well, guess who came in at the end of the game and wasn't any better?
Was there somebody better?
Actually was worse.
Oh.
With Jalen Duncan, he allowed 2 pressures and graded out as a 36.9. I thought he allowed a sack.
He did.
Yeah.
He did. Yeah.
And he just looked like he shouldn't even be out there. And then beyond that, it's John Ojukwu, who we all thought in the beginning of, OTAs and all this stuff, he was taking all the reps with the ones. Well, that didn't amount to anything. Clearly, he ended up being the 3rd guy at the right tackle spot. And I don't know, we're not going to see anything out of him if he's the 3rd guy, right?
I mean, if we go to that,
what are we doing?
We got real big problems.
I mean, I think your next best option is Dylan Radins plays right tackle, and either Andrew Rupsich or Daniel Brunskill is your right guard.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
And
so just make
Ramon has forgotten more about O-line than I've ever learned, but from my very uneducated fan perspective, why not just go to that next?
Or find a spark with somebody in free agency. Like, if they're available, and the always statement is, well, if they're free right now, they're probably not that good. Yeah. But at least I know you got a seasoned vet or two out there that might give you a spark. Sometimes you just bring in somebody to say, look, none of y'all were good enough. But what sucks is this. It's still early in the season.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if you give up on that spot at this point, Ramon, is that pretty much like you're flushing that and you got to go draft your guy?
You got to, or either find ways to be creative offensively.
Yeah.
Like, it comes down to play calling and protection, which also at that point still probably handcuffs the offense if you got to keep tight ends in the entire time.
You winced and shook your head a little bit at the beginning of that quote from Brian Callahan about a lot of it has been good.
Yeah, I did. Because that's one way of saying, like, you're okay. Like, he blessed his heart with MPF.
Yeah.
That's what he did.
That's the perfect way to describe, unfortunately, a player who's not doing well.
And knowing you don't have an option.
Because the difference between being good and bad in the NFL is not significant as it is in college. But yeah, that's the perfect way to describe it.
We had a stand as far as, like, an NFL play is hard. It is. Like, we all acknowledge that, right? It's not easy. And even the bad teams, it's hard to beat still, right? And Coach Tomlin used to just say above the line or below the line. If we could probably ask Coach Brian Callahan, okay, well, tell me, is he above or below the line? I think the answer would have been he's below the line. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're all see on game day. And that's what he's provided us, even as he had to run down to the other sideline to get his helmet.
Can I add one thing real quick? I think it's just a hard situation here because you have an offensive line that's young and trying to figure out how to work together. And then you've got a quarterback who's trying to figure out how to work in this new offense and figuring out how to build his confidence. It's a very bad combo, right? And it is what it is. You got to make it work. But it is tough because both are so young and new to this offense. It's just not working together at all.
David in Nashville next. What's up, David?
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
I got a question for y'all. Do you think Bill Callahan, Coach Callahan, should let the play calling come from his offensive coordinator, and then he focus more on the team and the issues that's going on with the team? And then I also got a question for Ramon. Ramon, do you think the UT Vols can beat the Tennessee Titans right now by the way both teams are playing?
I'll always say a pro team going to beat a college team.
There's no chance.
We used to have this conversation with Bama and teams. Remember that?
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Remember that back in the day?
It's just a different animal.
Yeah.
Thank you for the call, David. I do not think Brian Callahan, I'm assuming who you meant, should give up play calling duties this early. No.
Not this early.
No.
But I do think it's this, though. I think seeing the game from the sideline and versus up top is a little bit different. I do think there's an adjustment for Coach. Here's what I was explaining to somebody yesterday, actually. I think when you look at what Coach Brian Callahan has done in Cincinnati as far as being the call sheet set up guy, right? Setting the call sheet for the week. Here's the thing about that, though, too. Like, you can say, hey, Coach, on 2nd and 5, we got 7 plays that will work, right? And you can give it to Coach, not LaFleur. What's the one in Cincinnati?
Over in Cincinnati now.
Yeah, you can give it to the head coach. Yeah,
Zach Taylor.
Zach Taylor.
Yeah.
You can give it to Zach Taylor, and Zach can look at those 7 plays on 2nd and 5 and pick the right one. Here's the thing about it. He's been done the exact same way. Like, being on the field and having to make making plays, like, of those 7 plays, which one is actually going to work? All of them can. And I think that's where he's at right now. With his decision making or play calling I got the baseline of what will work. Picking the right plays is probably something that he's adjusting to too. So I got grace for that because it's different from seeing it up top versus seeing it at the field level, dealing with emotions, offense, defense, special teams, and management. I ain't telling him to give it up at all. Andy Reid's doing it. There's numerous other coaches in the league that are play calling on the sideline. Those dudes have experience at doing it.
Coming up next, VolQuest's Austin Price will join us, recapping Tennessee and Oklahoma. and a massive recruiting battle that continues into this week with Austin Price coming up next.
It's Ramon Foster for United Structural Systems. Man, they are a foundation repair and waterproofing company. Have served the Middle Tennessee area since 1994. And here's the thing, got more than 25,000, yes, satisfied residential customers. And you guys know we dealt with a hot and dry end of the summer right there. So you might want to walk around your house and see if there's soil cracking or pulling away from your home, or if there are holes or gaps next to the foundation, bricks cracking, wall bowings, doors or windows sticking. These are all signs of possible foundation issues. Your house may be trying to tell you something. And on the waterproofing side of things, underneath your house, all right, you need to control that moisture and create a healthier home for your family by encapsulating the crawl space. Mineral repairs that USS do are guaranteed for the lifetime of your home. Been here since 94. Aren't going anywhere at all. Again, we guarantee our best. Call USS at 615-488-7855 or online at USSTN.com.
Tuesday morning on RKW, Ramon, Kayla, and Will continues here on 104.5 The Zone with Ramon Foster and Kayla Anderson. I'm Will Bowling. Pleased to be joined, as we are every Tuesday at 8:20, by Austin Price of VolQuest and On 3. Austin, how are you? Good morning.
I'm doing great, guys. Good morning to you all.
Morning.
Austin, what did you learn? What impressed you the most about Tennessee's win in Norman over the weekend?
Do you want me to answer it the way I answered that in the Monday night chat last night?
Yes, I do, because I was just chuckling at that in this last break.
I learned that you're only allowed to get one cookie at halftime, as per the media relations people at Oklahoma. They announced it over the intercom. On the field, I learned that Josh Heupel is maturing as a coach. The way they were able to, kind of adapt their plan, in the second half, and understand that the only way they were going to lose that game was by, self-inflicted wounds as far as turnovers, and to not continue to drop back and just kind of play field position, punt away, and lean on your defense. I think that was, very mature, and honestly, I know fans don't grasp it because they want them to wing it down the field, but the biggest thing is to win the football game, and I think Josh Heupel got to the second half and said, we're not losing if we just take care of the football. You go into that first half twice, bad pass protection, whether it be by running backs or the offensive line, led to 2 fumbles. And both times Tennessee got lucky to get the ball back after Oklahoma had recovered. Tennessee's defense stepped up and forced turnovers in their own right. I think that's basically what was going through Coach Heupel's mind when he kind of adapted the game plan there in the second half.
Austin Price of VolQuest, our guest, at Austin Priceless on Twitter. Austin, 27 guys played on defense. Only 7 of them played more than 50 snaps in the game. What did you learn about the depth on defense? I know Jackson Moy gets in there. You've got Joshua Josephs, obviously, but guys like Jason Jenkins, who had 1.5 tackles for loss and a sack and just 7 snaps of action. Who impressed you most out of that group that you feel like is playing their way into more prominent roles?
Well, Jenkins definitely took advantage of his snaps. Tennessee's going to rotate a lot of bodies. Rodney Gardner's been doing that since he's been here. So, they have a deeper defense than they've had, and Coach Inge is rotating kind of like Coach Brian Jean-Marie did last year. The rotation in the back end, though, is something I think that, is kind of new. And, I thought Jackson Moy was fantastic. Josh Josephs played well. I think, James Pierce is or pressing a little bit too much right now. And I think that you've seen him, be a little frustrated when he's come so close and the guys got away. He did get half a sack the other night. I think if he'll just kind of relax, I think, a lot more are going to come. I think there's so much pressure because, all that, off-season talk about number 1 pick in the draft and this and that. I think he's like, well, I've got to live up to that, and I think, he's still altering the game even if he's not getting home. And I think that goes a long way to him having, more success, the back part of the season or the last 2/3 of the season, just kind of playing free and not, putting so much pressure on yourself to, think you've got to have 1 or 2 sacks a game.
And that's the thing about it is other players are making up for him. We discussed him a little bit earlier, Austin. Austin Price is with us this morning. But I don't know if we've seen a more physical guy than Jacoby Thomas right now. Where and how did he incorporate this style of play in this Tim Banks offense? Because he's been laying dudes out.
Yeah, I mean, that's he's taking advantage of, his 20 snaps a game. I mean, he's not playing as much as some of the other guys, in the secondary. But, when he gets in there, Ramon, I mean, out of those 20 snaps, I mean, he's trying to erase somebody 18 of them. I mean, he brings such a physical nature to the position. And, I think I was talking to Dante Thornton last night, and he kind of said, he goes, he just has no regard for his own body. I mean, he tries to kill you. And I think that he's probably got to play a little bit smarter because they need him to hold up, right? They don't need him getting. He got kind of dinged up a couple of weeks ago, and luckily it wasn't anything too serious. But I think the time and place for lighting somebody up. I think he's trying to get downhill and knock somebody out on nearly every play.
I ain't gonna lie, I love seeing it though, man. For the people that say football is soft, no, just watch Jacoby Thomas is all I would tell them. Okay. Also, this too, going on the road, got to give a strong tip of the cap and buy him a drink because you can in today's college football to Big Larry Johnson, Dane Davis, and Coach Glenn Ellaby to go on the road and piece that together after not having Lance Hurd and losing John Campbell. Man, what do you say about that trio that put a good enough product out there to win in Norman this past weekend?
Yeah, they gutted through it. Did they play great football? No, but I mean they masked it and did a nice job of doing just enough. Again, they got to continue to work the depth at that position. I think somebody like Jesse Perry's got to continue to come along. Bennett Warren, Tennessee, I don't think can hold up the whole season doing what they did the other night, but they really hold up for the other night. So, I think they've got to get Hurd back. They've got to get Campbell as healthy as you can. I think his little kind of burst the sack injury on the back part of his leg that they have to drain routinely. I think that's going to be something that will slow him down a little bit all year, but they've got to get him as healthy as they can. He's got to play more than he's been playing, and Hurd's got to get back out on the field.
Austin Price joining us as he does every Tuesday here on Ramon, Kayla, and Will. You can check his workout on VolQuest on 3. So Brew McCoy, great showing for him this past weekend. Austin, how big was it for a guy who's dealt with injuries and the fan base is so behind him, but to get out there and kind of showcase that he's probably at least the number 2 on the roster or in the receiver room?
Yeah, I mean, Brew's an older guy. He's worked hard to get back. I mean, he's probably in the best shape he's ever been in. He kind of just shredded himself this offseason. I mean, he's ripped. I mean, he's all muscle, and he's got his explosiveness back, and looked good the other night. Obviously, he's got a little bit of Jawan Jennings to his game from a standpoint of once he catches the ball, he's so tough to tackle on first contact, and he's somebody that I think Nico's going to naturally look for every time he drops back because I think there's a real rapport there. And let's face it, Nico kind of looked up to Brew when Nico was a younger player. Brew was a senior there at Mater Dei. He knew exactly who Brew McCoy was, and there's a fondness there for number 5. So it's good to see. And again, they'll need him to play that way the rest of the year. And they need Chris Brazel to step up. They need Dante Thornton to keep giving them what he's given them, and then continue to work in those guys in the slot.
From one McCoy on offense to the other on defense, and what a great pickup from the transfer portal with the former Oregon State cornerback Jermod McCoy. What has he been able to do early on in this defense that kind of shows you just how much he can boast up that secondary?
Yeah, I like both he and Ricky Gibson. I think Tennessee's pretty elite at corner. Which is, we've not been able to say that in a long time. And they're long, they're athletic. McCoy's a smart football player, and you look at what he did at Oregon State, and some of the accolades he got in the postseason there last year for a Beaver team that was really pretty solid. And he's picked right up where he left off here, and has been really good through the first 4 weeks. And just plays the ball well and is always in position, and it makes it hard for other teams to throw his way. They've tested him a few times, and he always passes the test. So you're right. It was a tremendous pickup, a great eval, and a great job of Tennessee, being able to convince a Texas kid who went to Oregon State and had a chance to go back to Texas A&M to come to Tennessee instead. Do not go to the home state school. Come to Tennessee. I mean, it's a big get.
Austin Price of VolQuest, our guest. Austin, how big of a surprise was it with Lance Hurd popping up on the injury report and not being available over the weekend? And what is his status, you think, moving forward as Tennessee takes a bye week and gets ready for Arkansas?
Well, most people in the program thought he was going to be good to go, and then he didn't even make the travel roster. So they'll need to get him back. They need him out there, and they need him for depth, and obviously he's your starting left tackle. So I'd be surprised if he didn't play a week from now at Arkansas. But I think some people, and myself included, were surprised that he didn't even at least try to go give it a go for the game in Oklahoma. But I think, the absence makes the heart grow fonder sometimes. So I think sitting at the house watching that game, realizing that, he could probably help, I think that'll, get a little fire under him. I think he'll be good to go next week.
You said that, and I had to steal it from Will real quick. Was that strategic? Says, hey, if you can't play, then you can't travel, or is that standard, Austin?
No, I won't say that that's standard. I think, I feel like you could go. I think a lot of kids sometimes will at least go out and test it. For whatever reason, they didn't want to, wait till Saturday to test it. He stayed home, and again, I think he was quick to make sure and post a graphic on the Instagram story as soon as the game went by. He's watching the game. So, I mean, again, I think that you hope that it kind of lights a fire under him that he missed, and he got basically have about 4 weeks between when he played and got hurt against NC State with the ankle, and when Tennessee plays at Arkansas, which is ample time to get yourself healthy.
Austin, I know Steve Wiltfong of On3 yesterday writing in his Wiltfong Rip-Around about Tennessee commit Douglas Utu and the On3 RPM projecting him to flip to Oregon. What is the latest in that commitment, and how much is Tennessee trying and efforting to keep him in the boat for the class of 2025?
Well, they'd love to make sure he doesn't flip, but it certainly feels like it's a matter of when and not if. Pertaining to Doug Utu, I mean that's one that I'm not sure. Sometimes you get a kid and a team tries to flip him, and there's nothing they can do, and then sometimes there's nothing you can do. And I think this is one of those instances. I don't think there's anything Tennessee can do. I think that this one's destined to end up a Duck, kind of like Deshaun Brain was destined to end up a Vol and not a Duck. So I think sometimes the portal, or not the portal because it's not a transfer, but recruiting giveth, recruiting taketh away. That's kind of welcome to modern college football, or really just college football in general, because kids been doing this forever anyway. Before there was NIL.
Austin, with recruiting these days, man, I saw other fan bases this past weekend just talking about, I don't know if there's a hotter brand in college football than what the Vols got going on with Morgan Wallen doing 2 big shows and Neyland. Other fan base was just acknowledging, I don't think anybody's touching what they got going on. But what was shocking to me is you had a quarterback wearing 16 in full uniform and Peyton Manning. I also, and I'm going to give it back to you, but I had somebody tell me their daughter went to it and said that is the best concert and night they've ever had in their life. And if they died today, they wouldn't miss the rest of their years, Austin. How big of an event was it? And what do you say about what Morgan Wallen doing, bringing those guys out?
Well, no offense to whoever said that, but, it was, while a great concert, I can name a lot of things in my life I still want to get accomplished. I want to have accomplished it all watching Morgan Wallen. But yeah, it was a fantastic scene, fantastic, performance by him. He killed it both nights. Took my daughter on Sunday night when I got back from Norman, and she had a blast. And I think somebody said it to me, and I think it's probably pretty accurate. Like Peyton, they kind of hypothesized that Peyton didn't really know how to do the serious, just kind of flank Morgan Wallen and walk out. And so he put the jersey on to kind of, give him, a reason to kind of, have something to do when they're walking out. And Peyton also is very comfortable in his own skin and doesn't mind, to kind of put himself out there. I thought it was fantastic. I mean, the thing that kept, coming to me was from everybody was like, oh my gosh, he's wearing his old school face mask. Like this get up he had on was, I mean, to the T what he wore back in the mid 90s. And I thought it looked awesome. I was shocked that, that they put him, that somebody convinced him to do that. But at the same time, if you know Peyton a little bit, I mean, his ability to host the ESPYs, host Saturday Night Live, kind of be, out there for people to kind of laugh at or have fun with, it doesn't bother him. And I thought it was awesome. I thought it was fantastic. I thought Brew McCoy and Nico, obviously, I'm not sure Nico knew who Morgan Wallen was. He was there.
He was there, right?
Agreed.
And then Coach Heupel, at one point, I think Morgan kind of slapped Coach Heupel on the chest and at least got him to smile. Like, Josh is so, serious.
Yeah.
And so, but it was fantastic. The baseball walkout on Friday night was equally as special, and just a great job and a great atmosphere. And you're right. I mean, it was a big weekend on the whole for Tennessee athletics when you look at kind of what happened here on Friday and Sunday, and then of course what Tennessee got done on Saturday night in Norman, Oklahoma.
Well, and that's what's great about winning. And when you're winning and when things are going right, and nowadays when you're trying to recruit in whatever sport you're trying to recruit in, and you can have your coaches go out there and have some fun on a national stage, there's a lot of eyes that were on those tweets and those social media posts. I would assume this is only going to help continue to build at Tennessee, because when you win and then you're able to do stuff like this on top of it, I mean, how are you losing in that situation, right?
Yeah, that's right. And, I think with Danny White as the AD, I think you'll see Neyland be more of a venue. I mean, I don't think he's just going to just let anybody go into Neyland, but I think Neyland will be more of a venue for concerts, and probably not during football season. I think this was more of a rarity, but I think when you look at, early spring through summertime, I think there's a real option there for Tennessee to host some concerts at Neyland going forward. I don't think this was, we've started to see this a little more frequently at Garth, 4 or 5 years ago, which brought us that dreadful third or fourth quarter song that we get. But now you've seen Morgan Wallen. Of course, Kenny did it 20-something years ago. Yeah. And so I do think that, you'll start to see that. And again, it's one of those things where I think Tennessee as a brand overall, baseball, football, basketball, and all the other sports, really hot. And then, of course, Tennessee's, got a few country music stars from right around this area, and, with Kelsey Ballerini and, obviously Kenny Chesney and now Morgan Wallen. So, you never know who's next. Maybe Will Bowling will break out and be a big star.
Hey,
That's what I'm talking about.
That'd be fun.
Or Ramon Foster.
Austin,
I just need Glorilla.
Well, I'll ask though. Then you brought up the end of third quarter song. Does Danny White know how much a lot of the fan base does it like this? Is there any consideration for the Stroke by Billy Squier, which was Billy Amick's walk-up song, or something else? Is the university talking about that at all? Or are they married to friends in low places?
They're not married to it.
Okay.
I think had Tennessee held on at Alabama last year, I think there was probably going to be just a straight we're taking Dixieland Delight, and that's going to be our deal. But Tennessee didn't win that game, and so I think that they paused to not do that. But again, I think they want to find, if they're going to move off of it, they want to find the right song to stick to. They don't want to bounce around, and I think that's probably where they're at, is trying to figure out what is the right song. I know some fans want Copperhead Road. I'm not a big fan of that either.
Agreed.
So, I think again you're looking for the right fit and fan interaction and all that stuff. And as Brent Hubbs will tell you, what do you want it to be? Do you want it to be energetic and heavy going? Do you want it to be? do you want it to be a sing along? What do you want out of that song? And again, I think the biggest thing is finding the right fit before they pull the plug.
I want Nobody Needs Nobody by Player Fly, but that's just me. It's an anthem. You know how many times I sung that on campus parties? Nobody's ever heard it but me and a few other degenerates I know, but I'd love to have that one be our anthem.
Maybe the head coach of the Patriots?
Yeah. Maybe the head coach of the Patriots, man.
Oh, man. Austin Price with us this morning. Austin, great stuff as always, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Oz.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Austin Price.
Nobody needs
He's
nobody.
probably like, what is Ramon talking about?
It was. I know. I wanted to put him in a corner right there, too. That is an anthem, okay? A sing-along on top of just gas.
I will say, being in Knoxville over the weekend, just on Sunday, the energy in that place right now is unlike anything that I have seen in my life as a Tennessee fan. I was a Tennessee fan the second I was born. And I'm telling you, it has never been like this that I can remember, ever.
No.
In that city.
When you win, things feel good.
I mean, we're doing like VOLS chants in between songs at Morgan Wallen concert. You just walk around downtown. People got their chest puffed out.
Sure.
They look at you like you're a winner. You know, it's just, it's hard to put your finger on. And you don't win championships on vibes. You don't win championships based on fans feeling good. You don't win championships on confidence and leadership and all these nebulous things we like to talk about. But there is a value to it. And I can't give you a point total of how much it matters. I can't tell you how much it really makes a difference, but I can just tell you that it makes a difference. The energy in that campus right now, it is unbelievable. It is unlike anything I've seen. And I've not been alive that long, but it is unlike anything that I've seen in my short stay here on God's green earth.
It's epic. I remember taking recruiting visits before, I committed and everything. It was rocking then. 0203 was rocking then.
It was. 100% was.
It was. And I think this is there plus more. Because of so many eyes and social media, et cetera,
Yeah, it's 20 times more, right?
615-737-1045. Coming up, Vanderbilt going to Missouri, doing some things. And we may get an early visit from Ron Slay today. That's the rumor. That's the word on the street. The street being the F&M Bank chat. That's next. What's going on? It is Will Bowling. I've got to tell you, over the weekend, I was at Whataburger up in Mount Juliet. Guys, it absolutely hit the spot. Coming off of a high school football game, of course, Whataburger, a proud sponsor of high school football coverage here on The Zone. I went there and I got my favorite, the honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich with fries, the Dr. Pepper shake. It was phenomenal. And the great news was it was late at night. It was after a football game. They were open. That's right. It's because Whataburger is open 24/7, 364 days a year. Just closed on Christmas, so don't go see them then. But every other day of the year, they have got you covered. And my goodness, the number one with cheese, the best-selling item, the all-time favorites menu, including the fan favorites like the patty melt and my personal favorite, that honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich. Customers love making their Whataburger just like they like it, whether that's adding grilled onions, jalapenos, one of the signature sauces. There are literally thousands of ways you can customize your Whataburger. And the good news is, if you're listening to the sound of my voice, you got one near you. 16 Middle Tennessee locations from Murfreesboro to Clarksville. That's Whataburger, just like you like it. RKW 104.5 The Zone. Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, Will Bowling. Streaming live on 104.5 The Zone TV. Ron Slay on deck in hour 4. I'm told of the Infinite Bank chat this morning, he might just come in early.
Isn't he here already?
Reports are that he may already be in the building.
I heard him back there.
Want to know how I know he's back there? I went back there playing player flies. Nobody need nobody, and we were just getting crunk.
That's maybe who I heard then.
Yeah,
you might be in contempt of court because there's a certain confidentiality that goes on back here that you shouldn't be able to just release to the public.
It's like Fight Club?
I mean, a little bit with better lawyers.
I mean, I don't come back there anymore since you, shut the door on us and have the lights dimmed and stuff. I don't know. I feel like we're not welcome back there anymore.
Well, that's because you're not.
See, there it is.
At least he tells it how it is.
He tells it exactly
Right?
how it is. I mean, it's rainy outside, so we can just slippery fight each other in the parking lot.
I wouldn't be able to tell.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely raining outside.
It's pouring.
I love y'all to open up the windows every once in a while. I love a little daylight.
No, that's overrated.
I love a little daylight.
I do that in the
every once in
pregame
a
show. I
while.
get blinded by the light.
That's all I need. Well, you ain't got to go no higher than that. Oh, look at that. Outdoors.
When it's this overcast, we can open the window a little bit. It doesn't
That's true.
a
It's
terrible
not
glare.
as bright.
Yeah, that's why I'm for it. But we need this rain. I sound like an old
Yeah, we do,
homeowner.
though.
We need this rain.
We definitely do.
I'm not at the we need this rain age yet, but I'm sure I'll get there sooner rather than later.
It'll come.
Missouri 30, Vanderbilt 27. Credit to the Commodores for bouncing back in a way that I did not expect. I think many did not expect after they lost to Georgia State. I think first and foremost, Georgia State probably should be given a little bit of credit for just maybe being a better program than they were when they beat Tennessee. I think Georgia State was a worse team when they beat Tennessee than they were when they beat Vandy. But Diego Pavia, 14 to 23, 178, 2 touchdowns, carried it 17 times for 84 yards. Looked more dynamic against this defense than Thomas Castellanos for Boston College did. And that really impressed me. What did you guys take away from this one?
Man, first thing I take away from it looked like Diego Pavia throws like a kid that's mad in the sandbox, throwing his toys down. He just chucks it forward. And I'm just like, well, is he efficient? That's all that matters. Is he efficient? And also this, Ron Slay's name for him, the Fighting Clark Lees. I like that because that's what they have done. They were all over Missouri this past. Drinkwitz was on a bending knee trying to figure out what the heck is going on.
He was so perplexed.
And again, the running quarterback in today's game is the X factor. It's the 11th man that you have to defend against. And I absolutely love what Vandy did against them. I think in these types of games, you expose teams to other teams. The residual of this may be benefited by somebody else that Missouri has to see, unless Drinkwitz has enough capability and smarts and know-how as a head coach to fix this, because Vandy owned that game 2 overtimes.
Yeah. The 2 overtimes, to be able to do that. And I know Missouri is not the most ruckus home environment. I get that. But this is a team who is winning. They have been touted as a top 10 team for a while to start the season. And I feel like Drinkwitz, as much as he is annoying, he's trying to get the fan base to believe. So it's not like it was a bare environment. And so Vandy went up there and they held their own. And this is a team that's trying to continue to build consistency with its program. It's great to find those wins like Avatech to start the season. This would have been really huge, I feel like, in momentum just with their SEC schedule, because they haven't been able to muster up SEC wins as of late. This would have been really big. But I'm not going to sit there and poo-poo them. I thought it was a great fight, a double overtime that really you were out of because of a missed kick. Yeah. And that's unfortunate, but Missouri had its kicking issues of its own. The unfortunate thing, guys, is they got to go to Alabama next, which is never fun. They host Alabama. Like Nick Saban said, this is probably the only environment he doesn't find intimidating on West End, because you're mostly going to get your the other opponent's fan base in there. But, they've got Kentucky on the schedule after that, and Ball State. You could get a couple wins there, maybe.
I think Auburn's a winnable game.
Auburn further down the schedule.
Definitely.
Yep.
I think right now Vanderbilt is better than Auburn. I really do.
I would say so, too. I think Auburn's dysfunctional.
Auburn and Mississippi State right now are the 2 worst teams in the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's even more showing on what Missouri had going on in this games? Vandy got to them 3 times as far as sacks and 8 TFLs. That doesn't show efficiency at all, Will, against a team like Vanderbilt, who doesn't have the same roster as them.
Brady Cook in this game, 23 of 37, 226, 2 touchdowns. Him and Luther Burden just are not clicking in a way that I think a lot of us expected them to. Nate Noel, though, looks like a good Connor Schrader replacement. 24 carries, 199, averaged 8.3 per carry in this game. He was excellent. Cody Schrader, not Connor Schrader, my bad. But Missouri, we thought we would not know how good they were for a long time because their schedule might be the easiest in the SEC. I think we're learning that while they still could be good, they can always get better.
Yeah.
Right now, they are not in the same league as the top 5 in the SEC, which is Georgia, Texas, Alabama, Ole Miss, and Tennessee.
No.
It's those 5, then it's everyone else.
I would argue, too, they're at Texas A&M next. I know Texas A&M hasn't looked world-beating to start the season, but I think they're going to continue to build with Elko there, Mike Elko. I think he's a great coach. I worry about that game for them on the road. Then you got at Massachusetts, and then they've got an Auburn team, too, who they can obviously beat. So that's just recent.
It's going to get real dicey for them soon.
615-737-1045, the number coming up. We'll see if Ron Slay wants to come in here early. Reports are that he might.
He said he does not.
Oh, okay.
He's
cool.
in a therapy
That's fine.
session
Well,
right now.
He's in therapy?
In that
Yeah,
case,
he's in therapy.
Brian Callahan said something interesting last night on his radio show that I think raises some interesting questions about the Titans' offense and one area where we should be giving the Packers more credit. That's next. Hey, it's Will Bowling. It is the greatest time of the year. Again, kickoff is here and football is officially back. I'm having a blast on Underdog Fantasy this season, and over 1 million fans across 33 states got in the game last year by competing on Underdog. Went up to 1,000 times your money by just choosing higher or lower on your favorite players' stats. That's touchdowns, passing yards, and more. This week, as the Titans take on the Dolphins, I'm taking all of DeAndre Hopkins' stats, and I'm going higher because I think he is back to being his best self. I'm loving playing on Underdog because it is so easy to use, whether it's Titans, anything in the NFL, any sport. You can go on Underdog and you can have a blast making picks on stats on all these fantasy contests. Making picks on Underdog is straightforward. Signing up is even easier. Just head over to Underdog's simple-to-use mobile app or UnderdogFantasy.com. Sign up with promo code WILL, W-I-L-L, and Underdog will give you a free pick to use on your first Cash Champions entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code WILL, W-I-L-L, to claim your new customer special of a free pick and your deposit offer. Must be 18 or older and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
You ever wonder why so many pro athletes go and
What's going on? 9:03. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I am Robert Walsh. Doubleheader on Monday Night Football was fun. Bills dragging the Jaguars 47-10. Trevor Lawrence's struggles continued as he finished 21 of 38 for 178 yards, a touchdown and an interception as the Jags fall to 0-3. The second of the doubleheader, Commanders as an early candidate for Game of the Year. They get the win over the Bengals 38-33 in the first game since at least 1940 in which neither team had to punt or had a turnover, and the Commanders doing something no team in the Super Bowl era has ever done. 2 consecutive games with 0 turnovers and 0 punts. Brian Callahan spoke to the media yesterday on some Titans injuries and had this to say.
Hey, it's Will Bowling.
He didn't have that to say, that's for damn sure. Here's what Brian Callahan had to say.
Just starting out, we're probably going to end up. Cheeto's got a groin. Probably miss him for some weeks at this point. It's significant enough. What that timeline is remains to be seen, but I would expect him to miss some time. Jeff's got an elbow. Simmons has an elbow issue that's probably day to day.
For all your foundation repair and your waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Into hour number 4, 9 a.m. in beautiful Music City, USA. This is RKW. Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, Will Bowling, Robert Walsh. In 15 minutes, Ron Slay will join us. Not any sooner.
No sooner.
Not any sooner.
No sooner.
That is, hey, when Ron Slay walks into the studio, he tells us what he wants to talk about and when he's going to be here. And we say, okay.
Yes, sir.
Because that's all we know.
That's
all we know.
That's about to become a thing.
I really enjoyed it. Oh, it's already a thing. Don't you worry about that. The podcaster from Tennessee has already made that a thing, as NC State fans would call him. I enjoyed y'all's Twitter live stream from the back porch on Saturday.
I was hoping we were having some good times.
You were having good times.
I didn't realize we went for like 40 minutes.
You did.
Oh, wow.
I was tuned in from the broadcast booth at Geodis Park in breaks as we continued post-game coverage of NSC and FC Cincinnati.
Oh, hey, the vibes are good, okay, because it's, y'all know how Kayla, you know how we get dogged out. Say it feels like 98 again and all those types of folks and stuff. So
you're enjoying it.
What we were doing was celebrating the good vibes, Will, and just acknowledging when it's good.
You got to enjoy it.
And
absolutely.
I'm going to tee up Slay with 2 tweets that I was sent on Saturday night.
Okay.
And he's going to feel the same way I did about them.
Oh, brother.
And after the second tweet, I decided I'm no longer going to respond to this guy.
Okay.
I'm just going to save it for Tuesday morning's show.
You know what was happening, too? I hope I'm not taking a tweet away from you or a topic away from you, but a lot of their fan base, I tweeted out, the Vols defense forced them to bench their 5-star plus quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of their fans, I guess, found it. They were just like, well, you hadn't watched the games that he's played. We've been asking for him to get benched.
No, we have.
And I'm just like, okay, now, which one was it? Okay, did y'all ask for him to get benched? Did we make him say brother? Yeah, we made him say uncle is what happened. Like, we helped you guys out. Why you coming at me? You must not watch tape. Shut up.
It is crazy because the situation Oklahoma's in, like imagine if Nico was bad and you had to go to Jake Merklinger in week 4.
Yeah, facts.
That's literally the situation that Oklahoma is in. Their 5-star plus quarterback who came out in the class of 2023 is not who they thought he was going to be, and now they're going to their true freshman.
And on top of that, they were playing. They were using the whole. It was a bunch of coping. It was copious amounts of coping.
A lot of copium was being taken.
Oh my god!
Is that a new drug or something?
For them, it was. They never seen this.
It's for college football, right?
Well, we'll talk about that more with Slay coming up in a few minutes. Guys, last night on the Brian Callahan show on Titans Radio, which first of all, you need to be listening to that every Monday night here on 104.5 The Zone, 6 p.m. Amy Wells asked the question to Brian Callahan about the defense of the Green Bay Packers, what this offense was doing, and some confusion on the offensive line. First-year defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley, I think, deserves a lot of credit, former Boston College head coach. And I thought this was a really interesting explanation from Brian Callahan about some of the struggles his offense had being thanks to things that they had not seen on tape. This was Brian Callahan here on Titans Radio last night.
Where do you feel like you maybe left some opportunities for it to have been a little bit more productive day?
Just the third down conversions when we've had opportunities. We go down, we score, we answer their score with a score. Opening drive felt good, did a lot of good things on that drive. Finish it with a touchdown in the red zone, which we have to do. They go down and kick a field goal. It's 10-7, and we get our second possession, and we throw an interception for a touchdown on our, I don't know what it was, 11th play of the game. And now it's 17-7, and puts us a little bit out of rhythm. And then we get back into a third and manageable. And then we took, I think, 2 sacks on third down in the first half on some unscouted looks, which we knew was going to be something that we'd have to deal with because the film was limited on Jeff Hafley, their coordinator, and they showed something they hadn't shown in 2 games and caught us. They played a snap of man coverage in a spot. They played primarily zone, so we had a zone-style play versus man, and that didn't go great, and have to hold the ball, and we get sacked. And then very similar thing they did in the third and short that we got sacked on was, we're trying to uncover man versus zone, and we have kind of 2 plays called in the play call, and they react to emotion, and they show essentially man coverage everywhere, and then on the snap, they drop out into 2 Tampa. Really well done on their part, but forces us to hold the ball and react. It's not what we thought we were getting, and then took another sack there. So just the execution on third down, the plays, the selection, the process, everything just needs to be better so we can keep getting opportunities to drive the football. Because when we drive the ball, when we get first downs, we've generally been pretty good, but we've had way too many 3-and-outs.
I think that's a really interesting breakdown. And again, you need to be listening to Titans radio on every time they are on, whether it's Mac Talk tonight, Titans Tonight with Keith Bullock on Wednesdays, Brian Callahan show on Monday nights, everything they've got going on, because you get nuggets like this. I think that's really interesting, the credit they're giving Jeff Hafley, the defensive coordinator, for showing them things they did not expect to see.
And you're probably wondering, well, how did you not see anything? Well, his last job was the head coach at Boston College.
That's right.
And before then, he's coached defensive backs. This is his first call as far as being a defensive coordinator. So as we speak about, there's a lot of unknowns when it comes to the start of the season. He didn't just give you coach speak right there. Those were real answers. Yeah. And honestly, he pretty much said, I got. We got. And I don't know if you commend him or tell him do better with what he just told you, but that as a person that took ownership to say, I'm not going to hide the fact that we got beat by some stuff we never saw and we couldn't adjust to it. But again, that's also on Will Levis's part on not having the experience to work through things before. And it's also, again, on Coach Callahan's, to where I said earlier, I can give you 7 plays that work on 2nd and 5. How do you pick that one that works for you in that setting is probably one of those things that he's going through also. There's grace to be given for an 0-3 team with a new head coach, with a young quarterback. It's unacceptable from a fan base perspective, but I can get why a lot of this newness is probably smacking them in the back of the head right now.
It's interesting, too, because I don't know with even veteran head coaches, when you come into a situation like this where you don't know much about the new defensive coordinator and there's not a lot on tape to look at, because honestly, that had been talked about all week long in the locker room, specifically by offensive line guys like Lloyd Cushenberry. I remember exactly the conversation with him last week. Yeah, well, we just don't know a lot about the defense. They've got a new defensive coordinator, and it's so interesting when Callahan says that, because I don't know if it's something he could have done differently with a coach with more experience in that situation. Just that's part of the game sometimes when you're facing something with some unknowns. But also, I don't know, you're new to this coaching thing as a head coach. Do you have other ways to reach out or have other ways to kind of diagnose some of the things that he did in his previous stops? It's a very interesting question, but he did just kind of like get out coached in situations on Sunday.
I was just going to bring it up for a guy that you don't have much tape or understanding on anyway. I mean, all you can do is try to adjust in real time is essentially what he said, and there wasn't enough adjustment. Yeah. Wasn't enough adjustment there.
Yeah.
I think he got out coached.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of having a first-time head coach.
Yep.
Part of it. Doesn't mean he was a bad hire. Doesn't mean he's wrong. Doesn't mean that you should be overly panicked. I just think it is what it is, that on September the 22nd against the Packers, Brian Callahan was out-coached.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing, too, is whenever they got down those amount of points, was it 10 points at the time? Anybody can dial it up. In the second half, also, to where you can honestly just say, you have to pass. So watch me pull this new play out of my bag. Like, that's essentially what he was doing.
And the Titans are not good enough up front to be predictable and good.
Right.
Because once they were going too high, all right, throw it.
Mm-hmm.
They could read and diagnose the screens more quickly, and they could just keep everything in front of them because you didn't have time to throw it over their heads.
No, you did not. And if you tried to run, the run game wasn't working.
That's the thing. Then they were behind, right?
Yeah,
so then that's really not going to work in that situation.
When you can stop the run with just your front without having to put extra bodies in the run game, it makes things so challenging on your quarterback at any level.
It's a talent.
And that was what happened Sunday.
It's a talent and production issue right now.
I have somebody who just texted me and said someone told me they had shown 2 blitzes total in their first 2 weeks.
Look at the scores. They didn't have to really do much.
They weren't blitzing a ton. I mean, the Titans, according to Next Gen Stats, have given up the most pressure in the NFL this year. But according to Next Gen Stats, opponents are blitzing the Titans at the 7th lowest rate in the NFL this year.
Mm-hmm.
And there were some blitz, obviously. Like there were some. They overloaded the left and right side on third downs specifically. And they blitzed a little bit more on third downs than I think probably they showed. There you go. Coming up, Ron Slay.
I got.
He'll join us next.
Hey, Kayla. It's Kayla here. Hey, Kayla. Talking about We Grow Hair, and it is a great opportunity for those of you who feel like you're starting to feel some hair loss, and maybe you have more hair loss than you expected at this point. So they give you a tailored plan. All you got to do is go in there, have them look at what is going on, and they'll set you up for success. I know I had been losing some of my hair in my temple area. I've been on a plan for the past few months and definitely seen a difference. And you really can lose up to 50% of your hair before you even notice it. We Grow Hair's PRP platelet-rich plasma treatments are awesome for helping that. You could see hair growth over just a couple of months. And then they've got their FDA-approved laser therapy. That is fast. You can go in, do that for 30 minutes, and you're out the door. That has definitely helped me restore my hair. They also have their trademarked hair transplant procedure. So if you are needing more in a one period of time, that's going to give you 3 times more hair in one procedure. You can't buy this cutting edge technology online. We Grow Hair doing it for 30 years in Nashville. Don't wait. Go to wegrowhair.com, schedule free evaluation, or just call them at 615-376-6010. That's 615-376-6010.
RKW, Ramon, Kayla, and Will continues on this fine Tuesday morning. 615-737-1045. The number. Ron Slay is here, present and accounted for in studio. Slay, how we doing? Good morning.
What's happening, man? We just got this West Tennessee groove going
Just
on
be
real
getting
quick,
it
man.
on.
Hey. Yeah. That's how we came. I'll be real. That's how we came up out of Norman. That's how we came up out of Norman.
G walking about that thing.
Man, coming up out that thing, man, letting them people know, man. Listen, y'all be cool down here, man. Y'all got a nice setup.
That beat can slap today.
Yeah, right now.
Do you want to start with Super Bowl caliber team comments or Tennessee, Oklahoma?
Give me some of that first, man.
I was going to say, I feel like this is what you want to react to.
I've been, man, y'all almost made me come in early, KK. I'm like, hold on, man. This is what we got to do, y'all. We got to believe what our eyes are showing us. I mean, we don't need no glasses for this. You know what I'm saying? Like, we already done squinted. We was squinting the off season, and then we was like, whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Let's put something together. Then we had to play. Then we had to look at it like, okay, bite our nails. Defense is really, really good. Okay, can the offense get it together? It's too many questions for Tyler Boyd to be able to come in and say Super Bowl. And this is my thing. We got to hold everybody accountable. So when Will Levis comes in and says he got to rewire his thinking, all right, well, we're going to stand on that. Rewire your thinking. So if I come out and say we got a Super Bowl team and we lean into Will Levis for a week and a half, it's the same thing with Tyler Boyd. You don't get no pass, brother. You didn't mean to say that. Or maybe you were saying you've been on teams where they were bad, where they had Super Bowl caliber talent, but y'all got there. And what you had to offset, what you're not putting on this team, you had Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
So how bad your offensive line was, you don't have Joe Burrow here. Regardless how good Will Levis is going to be in the future. He ain't showing us none of that yet. So there's no way you can say that. I think, man, one thing you got to understand is when Tennessee was really bad in football, me and Savage would sit on the back porch year after year after year and know that it was just going to ruin our weekend. And then we finally reached a point and we was like, okay, we got to come out in public with this. It's killing us on the weekend.
Yeah.
And that became a bit. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's pulling back the curtain. Tyler Boyd, you can pull back the curtain, brother. Y'all bad. Yeah. And it ain't just the offensive line. It's you too, Tyler Boyd. Like, you got to block.
Yeah, catch the ball.
You know what I'm saying? Traylon Burks, you got to catch the damn ball.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, D-Hop, man, you got to help. You feel what I'm saying? Not just individually. I love when he out there for his 17, 18 snaps. But give us a little bit more. Calvin, really? Make something happen. I don't know what you got to do. I don't know what the play call. I'm not in the locker room. All I know is what I see. Y'all got to do better. From the center to the receiver. Mm-hmm. Everybody.
Can I ask you a question about then, like, when these guys, because again, we're talking to them 4 times a week about
Right.
when they're responding to certain questions, and he was up there for like 10 minutes talking. So there's a lot of other stuff that he talked about and it explained really well.
Right.
But accountability is something on this team, something about this team right now that is interesting because I think they still want to keep that positivity vibe of the Callahan and the new era, right? But there are a lot of guys that need to take accountability. And if you were a player, Slay, in this situation, maybe what would your response be to not get down, but at the same time say, look, there's guys not doing their jobs? Because I feel like we aren't necessarily hearing that yet.
Right, it's a certain way to go about doing it. And I think first and foremost, you got to say it to yourself. You got to look in the mirror and check yourself before I can go and say, Savage, you got to do this. Will, you got to do this. Kayla got to do this. Yeah, first I gotta say what I got to do. Then it could be it's your delivery also. So I don't know what the voices are or who the voices are in that locker room, but there is somebody that can say it, that can present it the right way. Your presentation is everything. Because you may be saying the right thing or you may be saying the wrong thing, but you present it the right way and somebody might take it and be like, man, that was it. And everybody else would be sitting there outside the locker room like, what was he talking about? Everybody else inside understood. And then they start to get on the right track. So I just think, man, it's the right voice that has to speak. And me personally, it's not the coach. Coach ain't out there playing. Does he have to do better? Yeah, but he got to go check all his guys up under him. You know what I'm saying? And himself. Other than that, it's something that it comes with experience. Mm-hmm. This is a young team. Like, it was so many holes. One thing about it, we looked at the offseason and we saw all of the pieces that were put together and were like, dang, that was so dramatic.
Oh.
You know what I mean? That overhaul was so fast. It was like, dang, we're really going to be good. But we also forgot how bad we were. You know what I'm saying? And how much these teams ain't been together. What team has been put together? Listen, I was a fool of it too. I was a fool of the fool's gold too. That's what I'm saying. So,
I don't think it's fool gold.
No, I think it is fool's gold because when you see it on paper, like what he's talking about, that's the fool's gold.
Yeah.
Because you can't go out there and do it.
Yeah.
If you ain't went out there and did it, Savage, I've been in y'all room.
See what you're saying.
I've been in y'all room,
complete.
Savage. Yeah.
Okay,
I done been in y'all. I done seen when y'all walk with a swagger. Y'all's offensive line went playing for Pittsburgh, and all of them together, and it's only 3 of them. 100%. And it's still all of them together. You feel what I'm saying? Right. Mm-hmm. But then I also done seen, well, you know what I mean? Y'all play a little big back because y'all know, y'all done seen what the defense is looking like. Like, man, we got a little bit bigger load to carry. I know what the national media is saying because that is different than what the Titans going to get because of the history that was already there. Feel what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, all the doubt is already on the Titans, national media-wise. Wasn't no doubt on y'all at Pittsburgh. Okay. Reason being, because y'all had done that before, and y'all still had a nucleus and a core. What's the core here? Big Jeff?
Can I add to that too? Even if you're going to say there's veterans on this team, right? Which there's some.
Right.
But guess what the veterans are coming from, majority? They're coming from a lot of different organizations.
Yeah.
A lot of them have won recently too. And so that's different.
You got to put it together.
So that's an interesting point as well.
Yeah, you got to put it together, man. When you done seen it, it's different when you've been there, when somebody can grab you. Yeah. Like, come on, man. So when you asking what's the voice and who's going to say something, how do you correct it? I don't know because all of them in there in separate places. So which voice is the loudest? Should we listen to Cheeto? Yeah. Should we listen to Jamal? Him and Quandre, they got a great chemistry together. Should we listen to them two together?
How about the Super Bowl winner in the secondary?
That's what I'm saying.
I mean,
should we listen to Snead? Like, what make us not listen to Big Jeff? He been here the longest. Why we shouldn't listen to Monty? He was with Bayard. Like, you know what I mean? Like, who are we listening to?
You know what you just did there? You ain't mentioned nobody on offense.
No. Or the quarterback.
No.
Or the quarterback.
The guy who organized the Cabo trip.
Yeah.
Because you can have a Super Bowl roster, which I still don't think this team does, but if you don't have a Super Bowl caliber quarterback, none of it matters.
Absolutely right. When is he going to? It's because first and foremost, he should stand up. He would have to stand up in order to take the reins of the team and make me understand as a fan or as a player, like, this is my team. I hear what you're saying. Show me too, though.
Can you do that with 7 turnovers?
No,
right?
that's his toughest part.
Exactly.
And that's in the game.
That's who he is at this point.
And that's in the game. So you have to change the narrative of it. How do you do that? It's no longer getting at the podium. He has to speak, though, because he is the quarterback, QB1, no question about it. But at the same time, man, I done done enough talking. The only person that I need to hear from was Skoronski, that I'm going to take with a grain of salt, because we had never heard him speak like he did after the game, saying we deserve all the Shiano that we're going to have to get this week. Ooh. I'm like, oh, okay. I like that. We just heard MPF say it about his last game. We was like, oh, MPF said all the right things. That's what's up. We can't wait to see him Sunday.
Yeah.
Then he forgot his bus pass.
I don't know if we're going to see him this next Sunday.
Yeah, he didn't get to get on the bus. He's just standing down there at the public bus station, you know what I mean, watching the buses go by.
They just pick him up.
You got to get on, brother. You said the right thing. Hey, I want the number 7 bus to go down there on Charlotte. We know where you want to go. Where your ticket? Get on. You got to get on the bus. You just sit there and wave at us. Everybody else going.
You ain't punched your ticket. Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah.
What do you... I'm
with it today.
I know. I see it.
We can tell early on in the show when you're in the chat. I was like, he's ready. He is ready to come at it.
PB&J smoother with spinach. You know what I mean? Eating right. I'm trying to get my core back together. You know what I mean?
You got your hair growing.
I'm out here.
When you look at...
Yeah. Where I'm at?
Did you?
Yeah. I thought he under the table. Okay.
Win, lose, or draw, you get the same energy.
I was gonna say, where's the sound that the callers at MPF make real quick? Is it still available?
Gotta be one of them.
I gotta find that.
Oh my God. What happened? Did you hear this? You guys yesterday on our show?
It was an epic call.
It's a surprise.
Yesterday.
Just wait till you hear it.
Yeah. Well, it was an epic call yesterday.
Yes, it was.
The genesis of it is basically whenever MPF gets hit and try to block somebody, he makes it sound. There it was.
What was that again?
I'm stutter stepping and bull rushing, and what's the sound he makes?
No.
This is the caller
When you
who
go
called
to
in.
his fantasy football prediction machine too, when it gives you fantasy advice, that's the sound it makes too.
I'm not about to be part of this.
Is he a start or a sit? If it's a sit, it's
Y'all already done said, man, the man was out there twerking like to call.
I ain't say
Now
that.
the call
When
is I'll tell
Slay
you somebody
won't
in the
enjoy
chat.
the foolishness, you know that it's a high level of
They said
foolishness.
that man was at Magic City out there, man. No, man.
Goodness gracious.
A 4-hour drive,
Lucas
man.
Van Ness was getting some lemon pepper wings around halfway through the third quarter.
What you finna say, Sam? No,
I want to go here now, okay?
I ain't playing.
Sorry, that got derailed.
I was going to ask you where you answer it, but the better answer is this. You've had trials and tribulations in sports.
Absolutely.
I have too. Having something snatched away from you, either be injury or, man, I didn't win the starting spot like me in my second year, but I fought. What's a player's attitude? What's a dog's attitude, since he dropped that word last week, on getting demoted? How would you expect, if you just seen me get demoted, how would you expect me to act?
First off, I'm on your head, but I ain't even gonna have to be. You know what I mean? I'm calling you like, hey, dog, what we about to do? Because I know this ain't how we going out. You know what I'm saying? Speaking from my own history, like whether it be an injury that take you out, whether you get demoted. Man, first of all, demoted is hard.
It's hard.
That's a hard one to even
You know how many
I can't even
steps have to
fathom
be
that.
taken before coaches demote you?
Because you got to think what built you up to get that spot and own it first.
Yeah.
So you got to.
So they believe that you were capable of having it. So, like, for instance, before guys got benched, I know this. The rooms that I was in, the coach will put it in front of everybody. Then they'll talk to you in your position coach. And then you give another shot. And then you get one more shot.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost like evicting somebody from an apartment.
Yeah, you give them chance after chance after chance.
It's like 90
6, 7, 8
days.
months. Yeah, yes. That's a rough one, Savage. I'm going to be real. That's going to be one of the first ones I don't have an answer for. Because I can't fathom being demoted outside of the age or an injury. My play and then getting a second chance, nah, man, I've never been through it.
Did you hear him say also after the game in the locker room? I did not get a chance to talk to him. Somebody did, though. I listened. He said it's obviously the worst game he's had since one game back at Ohio State. And he said, I can remember whatever happened in that game. There was some sort of a mental situation that was going on. So he was referring to this as being maybe there's a mental part of it now playing into it. I just thought if you guys can go back on X/Twitter and find it, I'd encourage you to go listen because it was very interesting. I was like, I'm not quite understanding.
I tell you what, man, to each his own, man. But when you start throwing that word around dogs know what other dogs look like. You know what I'm saying? I've never seen a pack of dogs put a dog out for being a dog.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Maybe if you was a cat or, you know what I mean, using a sheep in
Hamster.
wolf clothing, something like you didn't really belong, then you got exiled. But dogs run with dogs.
See, respectfully, I'm going to go here real quick.
You should.
Because you said he mentioned it was mental.
There's a part of that.
And I'm wired
That's
different.
what I'm saying. Like
I'm so over that. I'm sympathetic for the ones that deal with hard stuff, whether it be people against you. Like if you got somebody against you and you know, man, this coach don't believe, like I got it.
Yeah.
I'm so over that excuse.
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep it 100% with y'all. And I'm a little bit different. And I hate to even use me, but I know folks that are a little bit different.
Yeah.
Like I've seen people be put in bad situations. My oldest.
Yeah.
What do I usually tell them? Fight out.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Figure it out. Yeah.
Do you have the answer to the test? Yeah.
Yeah.
Work through it. I don't want to hear mentals. Like, and I know the pressure of the game and like life or death for Simone Biles. All right, I'm with that. Like, I can understand what she was doing is life threatening to her flips.
Right.
Like her not being stable,
yeah.
she can be paralyzed.
Yeah.
But as far as man versus man, strength on strength, preparation versus preparation, I don't want to hear that.
Nah.
And I'm somewhat sick of it too.
Yeah, I'm gonna be real.
That's just me.
I'm
we've heard it with the Levis rewiring too.
Yeah, I went through a situation like I think it was my 5th or 6th year. I was pro and the assistant coach Guido. I never forget him, man. Guido was he was on the assistant. He was assistant on the Italian national team when they won silver. So he, had a little something, a little moxie about himself, and carried himself a little different. And I remember he didn't like the way I came off. But one thing he couldn't deny was the way I played. So he went to the coach, and the coach, they butted heads because the coach was like, nah, man, I'm playing him. He was like, nah, you're not doing this, that, or the other right. And it went on for about half the season.
Jeez.
And I had that little spot where I was like, Dog, I know I'm supposed to be out there playing. So the mental part, this is what I used to do. I used to pull up to practice 5 days a week, blaring gospel music. So we're going to play the mental game. This is what I'm going to start doing. So I'm playing gospel music, walking in, and when I turn my car off, I got a little speaker. I was carrying the speaker in with me. Still playing the gospel music, walking into the locker room. Soon as I see Guido, I go sit right by him, put the speaker right there, and just sit there and rock.
No kidding.
Since we're going to play the little mental game, like this is my game that I'm going to play then. So you going to play a game, I'm playing a game. You're not going to be the reason that I'm not going to go out here and eat. I don't care what it is. Whether I need to be in the weight room, whether I need to act the fool, whatever it is I need to do, I'm getting over this. This as a pro, you can get me with that in high school.
Yeah.
Not as a pro.
As a youth, undeveloped mind and brain and logic.
As a pro, you by the time I got to college, you couldn't get me with that no more. That was over with. What? You gonna stunt my growth for the mental part of it? Hell no.
Unless there's been a death,
That was a good story, by the way.
accident.
No, I ain't accepting. I done went through deaths. You done went through deaths. You went back and played.
I did. Okay.
Yeah.
No, ain't no excuse. If you here, you there, and we over here.
And you over there.
Come on, man.
I just love the image of Slay walking in with Revolution by Kirk Franklin playing on a speaker, just walking and sitting next to Guido.
No, Marvin Sapp all day long.
Never would have made
Man,
it.
what? Never would have. That was my jam.
I love it.
Telling you, never would have made it. I'm playing it right there, Guido. Let's get it on.
Did he ever look at you or ask you?
Man, I'm telling you, right before we went to the playoffs, he came to me and he took me to dinner and was like, man, I appreciate you. I didn't understand you at first. Let's go win these games.
Wow.
And right then I said, see?
Do you run a revolution?
I won.
Man.
I won. You ain't beating me, homie.
Come on.
We're going to talk about the Vols a little bit with Slay coming up next. There was a tweet that I got on Saturday night that I'll raise my hand and admit maybe I would have been saying myself 3 years ago. But on Saturday night, I took major issue with it, and I think Slay will too. That's next.
It's Ramon Foster for Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical, letting you know, man, you heard me talk about Hiller and how it feels being part of their family. Well, this month, Hiller's treating you like family, too, with the Friends and Family Savings event. Look, if you ain't family, you a friend, and they got something for you. They got something for both of y'all, all right? With the Happy Hiller Club members, you can save up to 25% off your first HVAC, plumbing, or electrical repair. I got to get them over to the house soon to put some ceiling fans up, man. Miles keep getting on me about that. But either way, I got you, Chaser. And everybody else, guess what? You get 10% discount. Present your coupon and save. Simply visit happyhiller.com today to download that coupon.
RKW, Ramon, Kayla, and Will wrapping up your Tuesday morning. Ron Slay is here.
My boy Bird just back there acting up.
Weekdays on 3HL, 3 to 6.
DJ back there.
Hey, I was telling Bert, man, I don't know when we going to do it, and I don't know if this is the proper term for it, you know what I mean, because of what this went through with the civil rights and everything, but we need a zone sit-in. Ooh. You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody I need to come sit on y'all's show for the day, or you need to go sit on Blaine and Zach's show for a day. Yeah, just for a day.
That'd be actually really cool.
We ought to rotate throughout the month. Just one person go to each other's show for a day, just to, you know what I mean?
That'd be cool.
Same places, or same faces, new places.
You getting close?
Something like that, yeah.
It's called land to
You're on the right track. You're on the right track.
You're welcome back. Welcome back, Will.
I am. So on Saturday night in Norman, Oklahoma, I don't know if you saw this, Tennessee beat Oklahoma. It was not a close game. They beat them 25-15. And I received a tweet from J.O., Ron Slay, who said, them taking their foot off the gas really has me concerned. Felt like it could have been 46-3 if they didn't let up. I responded. Could have also turned it over more and given Oklahoma a lifeline if they tried to air it out and score 40. They played to win, and they did. Follow-up response. They didn't play to win. They played not to lose.
Wow.
There's a distinction. And it's not just that they almost exclusively ran up middle. Playing not to lose made margin shrink when there was no indicator Oklahoma would have stopped it. Not winning mentality.
Oh, boy.
So somehow, Slay, after winning their first top 15 road game since Ramon Foster was playing tackle in 2006 against the Georgia Bulldogs, this was not a winning mentality. Why can't the people who share a diploma from the University of Tennessee with us just be happy with being at the top? You're here.
Yeah.
It's been built.
Yeah.
We made it. We got out of the wilderness.
Yeah.
We're having manna from heaven. We made it into the promised land. You don't have to wander in the darkness anymore and inflict pain on yourself that doesn't exist. Not winning mentality. What are you talking about?
I think a lot of it can be attributed to playing video games.
Yes, that's exactly what I thought.
That's what I'm starting to think. Because you look at it and you say, man, you got to take into account everything, all of the elements. You going into a raucous Oklahoma. When you talk about history, all you got to do is look up. It's painted up there. This is Oklahoma. Your coach knows it. You may not understand, but they understand it. And that's disrespectful to take those kind of chances with a guy like Venables.
I guess a great
defense.
This is
one of the best defensive minds in the country, along with a defense to back the reflection of him. You know what I'm saying? So, and then what I think is not understood as well, you have a freshman quarterback who's never walked into this realm before. And when you think he's ready and he's not, then you have to coach yourself. Is that what you want to do? Coach yourself a game? What is that doing for the rest of your team? What is that doing for Bishop that's running the ball well? What is that doing for Sampson that's running the ball well? What is that doing for that center guard triangle that's blocking the way they supposed to when Campbell and Hurd not there? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is that doing for Brew McCoy, who's been out there blocking on the edges? Dante Thornton, also Brazel. Like, the list goes on and on. And this defense, what is that telling them? You know what? Let me pin y'all back every single time. Y'all will get us out of this. Y'all will get us out of this. You got a freshman that is a playmaker. This is not a game managing guy. So if you got a playmaker like that and you put him in bad situations, he's going to take those chances. The more chances you take, at some point, that defense is going to get you. Just like our defense was able to get them. So don't put him in that spot. Let him learn on the go like he's doing, and he talked to that. Their communication is clear between Hypo and Nico. You heard him saying it at the end of the game. I took my foot off because I didn't want to take the chances. Let's get out here with a win. We thought we were really good going down to Florida last year. You know what happened down there? Yeah.
Exactly.
Ran up out of there. Just because you think you that good. That momentum could shift at any moment. And you keep taking a chance like that, and you will break.
Especially on the road.
Don't punish everybody else for that. So for the people that don't understand that, listen, we got a bye week. So what you need to do is go get you a koozie. We're not asking you to bring nothing else to this party. Just get you a koozie. We providing all your drinks. We providing everything you need. We got your satellite TV. You can watch the other games till ours come on. We got all the food. We got somebody catering it. We'll go up to Calhoun's. There you go. We'll go to Calhoun's right up on the river. Tell them, baby, meet us up at 9 o'clock. Bring that, put it on the train. We got some couple extra people that didn't believe they want to ride with us too. And we got a special section for y'all. Y'all can work y'all way to the front a little bit later. But for now, you starting off in the back.
Bars
and if you
open
say
seating.
you say something loud enough, we'll put you up off of here. You understand? That's why I'm telling you, just bring your koozie. Don't bring no game plan. Don't bring your tickets. Don't try to figure out don't try to figure out what time we need to be there. None of that. Be there when we tell you to be there. Because this train is rolling. You understand that? I told y'all the world gonna come to an end. The wick is showing. The wick is showing. All we doing looking for a lighter.
Why, Savage?
All we looking for a lighter. We gonna light it. Here soon enough. We gonna light it.
That Vol train is that fuse is in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
You seen that Dr. Pepper commercial when they slam on the brakes and everything? Everybody get out. Well, we ain't got none.
Should have made sure the next time they take the field, it's actually an SEC level field as well.
Yeah, so
that way
Joe,
that train
Joe,
can leave the
you
station.
go get your little partners, Joe, and you go tell them, come on over there. All they need is koozies. You hear me? Yeah, and we got twist off caps for you.
So it's just exactly like the 98 defense telling T. Just we got you.
Dude, can you imagine what Nico gonna look like next year?
I know. Yes, next year you can still open it up.
What?
Yeah.
You able to walk? This man's never walked into any of these stadiums. This is what you want to do? Like, come on, man. Don't you think at some point Georgia's defense is nasty? Regardless of who's the high caliber guy on their team, anything. Right. Their coach is that. It's a great warm up to go against a guy like Kirby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You understand that? Yeah, so think ahead. No, we out here trying to play chess. Y'all ain't even playing checkers. Y'all playing Connect Four. Come on, Joe.
And it's at some point, Joe might owe the defense one at Georgia.
Yeah. Come on, man.
Yep.
Come on, man.
That's what you bank on.
Come on, dog.
The time will come for them to open it up. And because college teams especially get better as the season goes.
Will Lee, we did open it up. We didn't miss.
I know.
On the hits. We hit Dante Thornton on the touchdown. We hit Brew McCoy. We hit Brew McCoy on the slant when he broke the tackles. Yep. He could have scored 100%. On that. Our problem is on the road when you take chances, we was throwing in the stands or throwing out of bounds. You couldn't hit the right guy. We got a guy that can hit the right guy. Mm-hmm. Samson, run that rock.
Yep.
Don't cut your hair.
I love it. I love it.
Come on, man.
Ron Slay bringing it
use
this
a
morning.
good barber.
Yeah, you feel me? Come on, man.
Come on.
Yeah, come on,
That is
man.
a biblical word. Dylan Sampson not cutting his hair. Back at it tomorrow morning. Ron Slay will be bringing you this level of energy as he does every day. Coming up later today.
Thanks, Slay Dog.
We said we was gonna do.
Come on, dog.
Where are you guys this Thursday?
I don't know. I'm looking for Joe.
He says,
I'm looking for Joe. Yeah, hell yeah. I'm going to take it off. I got to go find J.O. I got to go find him. Get his mind together.
I'm glad I brought this to your attention. We're back at it tomorrow morning.
Get it,
Ramon Foster,
Hey,
send
man,
us
that's
in.
my dog, man. All right, catch us live again maybe in 2 weeks.
Okay, we'll be right there.
All right, but remember, your Twitter finger's live.
Scorching.
It's always hot, baby.